Election. 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 Electricity freak. Future freak. Biopic freak. Heterophobia freak. 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 Election. 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 Electricity freak. Election. 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 Electricity freak.
Welcome to the podcast that drinks and knows things. I am Abby, aka Gertie of House Condescension. This is season 3, episode 10. I wish I had an Oscar Meyer Weiner. Recording date is July 8th, 2018, covering the Game of Thrones episode Misa. Joined tonight by my handsome co-hosts, Glenn of the Doghouse.
Yo.
And Ben, a.k.a. Sly of House McCummin.
McCummin. Yippee-ki-yay. What's going on?
And Lucan of House Black Betty. Bam Blam. Oh, Black Betty.
Oh, hello there. Hello. I was not ready for
Hello.
that either.
I worked a little bit on that. I was getting real...
Waiting months for this.
Yeah, because I always introduce her as Gertie of House Condensation.
yeah, taste of the own medicine tonight.
Right.
Well, gentlemen, what do we got in those drinking horns tonight?
I will have a Zima.
Right now, I've got
Ooh.
Zima as well.
We got
They were free.
I've got some Bud Select I'm finishing off from Friday night, and then some Modelo Especial Tall Boys, and Zima.
And we've also got Cast Iron
Brown.
Oatmeal Brown by Four Hands, St. Louis, Missouri. Yummy.
I'm drinking a
Yumbo, Matumbo.
Daly's berry lemonade frozen cocktail. Compliments of my mother,
There you
who
go. A
bought it and left it.
parent's Capri Sun.
Get them at the grocery store, I
Yes.
think.
Uh,
My wife is falling in love with those. They're very
I've
good.
never had them, and Mom brought them into my house, but I guess didn't drink them, so I guess mine's free too. Perfect. It's a cheap night. Well, I guess we should start drinking so we can get to knowing.
Yeah.
So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Okay, so let's jump in, and Ben, do you want to do a sigil giveaway?
Sure. Random draw number. Looks like number 30 comes up to a chalice, red colored sigil, and a blue badge outline. So it's a red chalice with a blue outline. If you have that, make sure you tweet a picture of it to @KnowAndDrink to claim your prize, and we'll get you something fun and interesting.
Yay.
Trendy.
Trendy.
All right, let's do a shout out to our friends of the show. Sorry, shout out to a friend.
So right now, we'll do a real quick shout out of those joining us in the live streaming chat. I see Bailey. I see LMR, who's from Poland. Don't let her fool you.
There you go.
I see DA in there. What's up, Dave? What's up, man? Appreciate you guys joining us. Hit that like button, share it, tell people to come over and start drinking with us. But our other friend of the show, this is going to be the last Ice and FireCon shout out from people that we met there. Glenn and I met Amin from a podcast of Ice and Fire, one of the longest running full rereads of the book series out there. They've been doing it for 8-9 years or so, and a lot of book left.
Yeah.
It's a lot of books left. And
Are they like just one episode per chapter?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so you can follow them at APOIAF. They rep House Manwoody. Their hosts are Amin, Kyle, Mimi, Ashley. They run under the Vassals of Kingsgrave. And if you would like to join us at Ice and FireCon next year, go ahead and sign up there and use the promo code DRINKS at checkout. And you too can be featured as a friend of the show by following us on Twitter at @KnowAndDrink.
Bam. Okay. So our show is produced with the love and support of our wonderful Imaginary Legion patrons.
Including Bailey in the chat. Appreciate
Hey,
it, Bailey.
Bailey.
We love Bailey. She's the bomb.
Yes, she is. All right, let's go on to some current news of Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire. Fire.
Okay, yeah, so I got a fortune cookie a little bit ago that said international travel will be in your future. Now, I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I did find a article on Forbes, Game of Thrones, The Expedition. American pop enters partisan culture. So basically, I think somewhere in Europe, I guess it looks like Paris, they're having like almost like an art gallery of just different Game of Thrones stuff, like costumes and swords and all that jazz. But it's set. I think it's they're touring around Europe right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it says it costs like 19 whatever currency they use over there.
Lira or
Euro.
Euro.
Right. So looks like you got kind of, some Unsullied stuff, some costumes from the north. They got all these different exhibits. So looks pretty cool. You should check it out if you're in the area.
Yes.
You guys
Neat. No, it does. That actually sounds cool if it comes this way, or something. I would.
Well, Glenn's
willing to give
going
it
to
a
do some
shot.
foreign traveling,
Give it
so
the
he'll
old
be over
college
there
try.
Yeah.
to report on it for us.
Here, new Patreon idea. We need to come up with an escape room Game of Thrones.
You need to stop just throwing ideas out there. Yours is so fucking convoluted and so much more work for me and Abby. Let's talk about these things off air, so I can bash on them off air. That's what we need to do.
Okay, perfect. Moving on. Benji, can you please give us...
read one of the current events so I don't have to do it for one episode.
You get to fly out here.
That's awesome. Episode recap. Previously.
Oh, hold on.
Episode recap.
Oh. Keep going, Ab.
Oh, well, if you wouldn't interrupt me. No, I'm just kidding.
This is like
Okay.
in Forrest Gump whenever they like pull the microphone away from him as he's giving like that inspiring speech.
Did you mute yourself?
No.
She's still muted.
Uh-oh.
What a terrible
Technical
day for Canada,
difficulties.
not for the world.
And that's all I have to say about that. Keep talking, Ab.
Hello.
There we go.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back.
We have our host again.
Yeah. I thought I did get like the good old your speech is up, the music was ringing, getting louder. It's trying to get me off stage. That's all right. All right, are we ready for the previous episode recap?
Sure.
Yes. See.
Go for it.
All right. Sam and Gilly approach the wall.
My baby.
Osha and Rick and ditch Bran and crew. John nopes out of killing a farmer and leaves Egret in the dust.
Nope's out.
The Hound and Arya get close to the family. Edmure flops his fish. Lord Filch gives his King of Crimson nuptial. And Roose gives Robb the Lannisters' regards.
All right.
Cool beans.
Sounds pretty much what happened last time. So, this is Season 3, Episode 10. It originally aired on June 9th, 2013. It's 63 minutes long and was directed by David Nutter and written by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Episode descript. That's
Season 3 finale. Joffrey challenges Tywin. Dany waits to see if she is a conqueror or a liberator.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. Now it is time for Quill and Tanker Pub Trivia. Perfect.
What was that?
Party horns.
Yep. So, the rat cook served the king a sun pie. Besides the sun, name the four other ingredients that were included in the pie.
Ooh.
Mentioned ingredients.
You sure it just wasn't like they used a pie filling from a can?
Pumpkin Prince pie.
Pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Pumpkin mash.
I got the frozen section. Just add meat. Stew pack. No.
Right.
There's 4 ingredients. Other ones that are named.
Besides the sun.
Besides the sun.
Okay.
That's a good
I was
question,
confused. Oh, son of a bitch.
We're not cooks. All right, I'm hitting the button.
Ah, son of a bitch.
I don't want to hit the button because I'm still thinking.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
All right, ready?
All right.
Hit enter.
Mmm. Some of you are very close.
Poop. All right, so we want
Glenn guessed onions, bacon, pepper, salt. Ben guessed onions, carrots, potatoes, sausage. And Luke guessed peas, carrots, cheese, and poop.
poop.
The correct answer is
Come on, poop. Come on, poop.
onions, carrots, mushrooms, and bacon.
I remember the onions and bacon. I couldn't remember the other two.
I remember the onions and carrots.
Yes.
So I guess-
So 0
So
points.
You two had 2 answers correct, right?
Yeah, so we get
But
2 points.
I don't know about
And then
that.
you get none.
I feel like
Peas and
it's
carrots.
Abby's call. But I feel like she asked for all 4.
She did. Yeah.
I did specifically ask for all 4 so I could get
Point
points here because I
for
thought it was ridiculous.
Abby. Point for Abby.
Abby gets the point. All right.
Because it's the last episode. I've missed like 3 this season. I need all the points I
that
can
brings the season 3 total scores to Glenn with 2. Missed a couple episodes. That's tough.
Damn it. I got,
Abby
I got
with
Bart
3.
the Bear.
He did get Bart the Bear. I teed that one up for you. Abby with 3 points. Benji with 3 points. And I'll take the win with 4.
Oh, no, you said poop. That, yeah.
get.
that should be minus a point.
See, Abby, this is why you. No.
This is why you just put poop when you know you have it on lockdown. All right.
Hey.
All right. Good season. Good season.
It was. All right. So are we ready to head into the opening credits?
Yes.
All right. So Peter Dinklage got the title actor this time. Back to him, I guess.
He's
Last
back.
time it was different, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Back on top. That's good. We
Yeah,
hit
but-
King's Landing, Dragonstone, The Twins, Winterfell, The Wall, and Yunkai.
Younger. What the fuck?
I did have one quick note on the opening credits. I don't know because I was watching it, but I don't know if I've noticed this before. But they wrote the Shivering Sea.
Been there every time.
Has it?
Yeah.
Okay. Usually I'm blanking out by that point. Just okay, where are we going to? And Essos and So, but I was just like for some reason paying actual attention to that. So I wanted to ask.
And then also there was the Gulf of Grief that has been there the whole time, but we just haven't talked about it.
I think we've
We passed by it.
mentioned it in passing.
Never heard of her. So
Never heard of her. We just passed by. Yeah, we mentioned her in passing.
There's also the Narrow Sea.
We did. Yeah, that's true. That's still there. All right, Ab. Where's our
All
first area?
we are going to The Twins with Roos, the Hound, Arya, Phrase, Northman, Rob, and Greywind.
Not Anne.
The fighting. Oh, yeah, you're right. Rob / Greywind. Thank you for the correction.
Rob Greywind.
Grip. Hybrid. So, the fighting continues as the Freys slaughter the Northmen. Rob is given a new crown, and the Hound flees with Arya. Why don't we have Glenn take this away?
Yeah, so I saw you said something about the Stark banner. The Hound actually grabs the Frey banner. I don't know if you caught
Does
that
he?
or not. Yes. And
Okay.
my guess is just to allow safe passage out of the camps because it's just a free for all. It looks like.
Yep.
Everyone's getting pulverized out there, and it looks like the Freys are kind of caught the Northmen off guard. Grabs the banner so no one's gonna mess with him. And,
Yeah, that makes-
gets out.
Way more sense because I thought he had grabbed a Stark banner for some reason. And I was like, why would you do that?
Hey,
Like,
I got a Stark.
yeah.
Hey, look
And I
at
was
me.
like, maybe he's like going to take it down and tuck it under his arm for Arya. I don't really know. I was like, this is a very terrible
memento.
move. But, okay, so obviously way more sense. Luke, I'll go to you.
Yeah, so this scene kind of opens up with on Roose, right? We see Roose. He's kind of walking around the parapet, and he walks up to the top of the wall and just kind of oversees all of the slaughter, going on out in the field itself.
The madness.
The madness has set in, as quoting Glenn, and I don't know. It just the carnage looks pretty rough. I mean, it definitely looks like a slaughter out there. So.
Yeah, like the pull out or like the pullback shot where you're nice and high above it, you realize just how many people are down there being
in a battle that literally one side had no any not a single inkling that this was going to happen at all.
And
they're celebrating.
They were getting tanked.
Yeah.
Just going ham on some drink.
Yeah.
And playing grab ass and stuff like that.
That too.
Yeah. And then Benjo, why don't we go to you? Because my thought goes right along with yours.
Yeah, my note was, seeing that with Robb and Grey Wind is really going to fuck Arya up. Yeah, but she's already created her list. We already know she has a penchant for wanting to kill people. That probably not great to let her see that. I mean, they didn't do that purposefully to show her, but, her seeing that isn't going to bode well for anyone.
I mean, she's basically seen every single person in her family like slaughtered, and maybe she didn't see her mother's dead body, but so far, like, those are pretty traumatic. And she knows her mom's in there. Not good. My same thought was, how does she even grow from this, or like what does she grow into? It just is too much of a.
Well, one could say that Robb was a werewolf, so maybe that was.
Maybe that's what they turn into when they die.
Yeah.
A Stark dies and it turns into
a werewolf.
A headless corpse with a wolf's head, stitched to it.
I want to go back
with the Chinese menu in his hand.
I want to go back to the question we asked the other day. If a warg dies, or right when if Robb died but Grey Wind didn't, what happens then?
It depends.
Well, are you saying if Robb warged into Grey Wind?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like, if Robb's died, or he knew he was dying.
The body dies.
And just, yes.
Yeah. So basically, he would live on in the animal, but eventually he would lose his train of thought towards the memories that he made while he was a man.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. All right. That makes sense. But still.
Yeah.
Really
Grey Wind died technically before Robb did, though.
Yeah.
So.
That's. Gotcha. So, I don't know. It's a pretty sad scene. We're ready to move on to Walder and Roose.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So Walder laments about being the late Lord Frey and finds out what really happened in Winterfell. Oh, yeah, Luke. Let's go to you, man.
So they're kind of chatting for a little bit, and then they're kind of talking. Well, Robb made these choices or whatever, but long live the young wolf, and that's what Walder Frey says. Then he just gives like a real sarcastic. Oh,
and Roose joins in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's his father-in-law. He's got to, bone, keep him happy.
He's got to bone him.
He's got to bone him. He's got to
bone
give him a
him,
boner.
Weird. I kind of lost it when not lost it in a bad way. Laughed pretty hard when he started doing that, and I really didn't like that Walter Frey got me to laugh. Or Walder Frey. I was like, damn it, you.
Waltrip Frey.
Waltrip. Walder. Is he a
Daryl
NASCAR
Walter.
driver? Weird. Oh, man. So, I don't know, Benj? What do you think?
Roose isn't wrong in a sense. Had Robb listened to his counsel, maybe things could have gone differently. And also, we finally officially figure out who's been torturing Theon. It's, because it's not how we have it listed here, but the next scene jumps to that. So we find out, basically that Theon took Winterfell, but they're not the ones that sacked it, because his son is the one that actually destroyed everything and, fucked it all up.
And we find out that the guards that he like said will like pay you off or let you leave if you just turn over. He flays them.
I think no, he kills them. He just straight up kills them.
I thought he said he flayed the 20 guards.
That's okay.
He did something to him. We know that.
Yeah, I thought he just straight up killed the guards and then he kept Theon to flay him. But I probably misunderstood. But no, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just pretty messed up in general. Like, here's your deal, leave, go home, great, all good, and then
it was
I don't know. That's crazy.
A ruse.
A ruse. Glenn.
Yeah, you see in this scene that Waller just does not care about anything else. Like he did his big like thing, and like I think Roose is trying to instill him that there's still like enemy and like the Blackfish escaped and stuff like that. And Waller he gives two shits. He's like, well, you know what? I got Tywin Lannister backing me now, so tough shit. Like we're invincible now.
And I think as you get older too, I mean, he's pretty freaking old, right? He's like, what are they going to do? Kill me? Oh, like I don't have that much time left, anyways. He's not scared, I guess. We do find out that, well, what's his name? Not really Blackjack Randall, but
Floppy Fish.
Yep, that guy.
Edmure.
He is in a dungeon.
Spend his winning night in a dungeon.
So that's exciting, and I'm glad to see that. I feel like it's a confirmation that Blackfish isn't like in on the plan or plot with them. Like he didn't get up and leave.
Okay.
Because he knew what was going on. Not that I actually thought that is what happened, but I was really hoping it didn't. And I don't even think this is positive confirmation that didn't happen, but it lets me maintain hope that it just was a coincidence.
Gotcha.
Well timed leak.
Yeah, right? Pretty crazy. All right, King's Landing.
King's Landing.
All right, we got Tyrion, Sansa, #Shea Stadium and Pod. Tyrion and Sansa enjoy a quaint walk and discuss ways to punish Eldrick Sarsfield and Desmond Craighall. That was going to be my question until I saw your notes.
Yeah, I thought it might be. I was like, I'm not going to... Yeah, I'll put them in there.
Yep. I was like, never mind. Scratch. New one. So, the only thing I really liked about this scene, one, I thought it was cute, but I like the way that as Sansa is explaining the plan to Tyrion, that you see Shay, like, give a genuine smile, like, this approving older sister, like, oh my gosh, she's so, like, silly or cute. It was a nice little moment. But, those two together are pretty funny. What do you think?
I definitely thought it was really cute to see Sansa and Tyrion kind of trying to make it work, or at least the best of it for what it is. It seems like she's being a lot more playful than I think he would have expected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably not still loving the idea, but again, maybe she's starting to come around.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. He's not the worst fucking guy around at all, and
he treats her with respect.
The daughter of a traitor and the demon
respect.
monkey, and they share a cute smile, and she laughs and giggles at that.
And he's like, "Lady Sansa," like, it's the racy word for dung.
Yeah, why shift? And he's like, "My lady," and that's when they get cut off. But I do like how Tripod is getting mired by the ladies as he's passing. I know that pisses Luke off. But as he's running through, oh, that's him. That's the one.
Oh my God, he's the magic cock.
Says the whores.
I did like Pod's sweet shirt he had on. He had on him. I think he wears it pretty much all the time. But it's a pretty cool little vest he wears. I like it.
Yeah.
You would.
Aesthetically pleasing. Glenn.
Anyone named Desmond Craighall must be a pervert. So we learned that Desmond Craighall is a pervert because his name is Desmond Craighall.
I think that's all you need.
That's all we need to know.
Yep.
That's it. All right.
Well stated.
1 point
We're
for me.
going... Hey, you're now not losing. So we have Tyrion, GBP, Cersei, Tywin, GMP, Varys, and Sansa.
So,
the small count.
You want to give real quick name clarifications on who we're talking about.
GBP.
Yes, because I was really proud of myself for getting those without mixing up the letters. So, GBP would also be AKA Joffrey, Giant Baby Pussy, and GMP would be Grandmaster Maester, myself.
Master.
Master.
Me and Gilly, we
Maester.
got things in common.
Yeah.
So that's names, and everybody else there's correctly
Correct.
named.
Correctly
Perfect.
correct.
Correctly correct. So the small council learns of the Red Wedding. Joff gets sent to his big boy bed, and Tyrion and Tywin talk about family, and Sansa gets the bad news. Glenn, we'll start with you.
So monsters are dangerous. Basically, Giant Baby Pussy calls Tyrion a monster. Tyrion's response: monsters are dangerous, and kings be dropping like flies, yo.
Yo.
So, and then also, like, you see this scene where, Charles Dance, his character is being questioned, and you can't outdance the dance.
There's no other.
There's no, and he reigns supreme over Joffrey, and kind of puts him in his place a little bit.
I can't believe Joffrey was left standing after the "while you hid" comment. When he said that, I was like, oh shit.
Someone's going to get a spanking.
Yeah, like, I didn't think, like, oh, immediate death right there, because Tywin, he's just too smart for that. But I was like, that was a very terrible, terrible choice of words. I'm going to go straight back. I'm going to go to Benji, because I think that'll succinctly get us into the...
Yeah, because you just sent the most powerful man in Westeros without supper.
If you think he is the most powerful man in Westeros, you're a fool. Like, it's just, he's right. He's like, if you think that this figurehead is really doing anything, you're a fucking moron.
Right. Exactly.
But then Tyrion's just like, oh, that's treason.
Yes.
Talking ill will about the king.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
then they kind of go into the old Varys theory, or Varys riddle of three men,
Where's power truly lie?
where's power truly lie, and Tyrion owns up and says the man with the army, the man with the armies, and basically talking about Tywin, because Tywin controls the largest army in the whole country now, especially after the Red Wedding.
Not surprised, but even though Tyrion so desperately wants that approval from his father, I think he's always seeking that attaboy from him. This right here, it's very funny who does not get dismissed. And if Tyrion can't look at that and say there is like a reason, it wasn't for him to sit there and berate him, or, kind of, I guess, maybe turns into that a little bit. But it was because that council or that strategical planning was important to have him there. So I think that is
True.
pretty
and
awesome.
Also, though, he wanted to reinforce, hey, get your wife with the fucking kid, because now she's next in line,
Yep.
and now your kid will be ruler of Winterfell and the North,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
also like to say that the scene, as soon as it was said, I was like, this is why I'm in love with this man. Joffrey says, I am the king! And Tywin says, any man who has to say I am the king is no true king.
Yeah.
And I was like, bam, got him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not tired.
Maybe some dream wine.
Yeah, he sent him to bed with no dinner with Benadryl. That is life.
Right. I do like that Tywin admits he gave the Freys assurances in carrying out their plans, so...
Well, we know that now.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first part of it. Then we get the later scene with Roose where they said, yeah, it was, all agreed upon.
Oh, yeah.
But that was almost sweet from Tywin with you are, at the very end of... Because I don't want to take your note there, Luke, because I'll let you go on with
Go
that.
ahead and say it, and I'll show you how you're wrong, but go ahead.
Well, I mean,
I'm sorry.
no, I said almost
Jesus.
sweet, because he basically says, yeah, I could have walked you out. I honestly thought about walking you out, and where I didn't do this for myself, I did it for the family. I didn't walk you into the ocean and drown you like I wanted to. I raised you because you're a Lannister. You are my son. And like I said, it was almost, because even Tyrion's face was like, that was a dick thing, but I kind of, like, I get it. That was kind of sweet.
I don't think there's anything sweet about it. He's basically saying, because Tyrion calls him out, when have you ever done something for the family that wasn't your self-interest? And he said, oh, the time I didn't murder you when you were first born.
Yeah. It's like,
that's not a sweet thing.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
anything else.
But that's how the conversation starts.
Yes.
And he says, you're a Lannister.
Think of another
Which
example.
basically means this is for the family, not for me. I want you dead. I wanted you dead. I'm a cunt, is what he's saying.
You just happen to be my son.
Right. No.
I only allowed you to live because you have the name, not because I give a shit about you whatsoever. So that's why I think it's invalidated to say that he has any feelings or any sweetness about the statement. I get what you're going at if you take it out of context.
Yeah, take it out of context, but I'm also reading Tyrion's facial response and the way he accepted it, and he kind of was even kind of accepting of it, and he was like, kind of facially, he was like,
well, I think it's just confirmation of what Tyrion's always known.
Yeah.
It's not any different. It's just, hey, he's never heard his father say that, yeah, you could still die, and that's fine, and that's okay.
I also like that he expresses, like, the, not Bolton's phrase. They get all the credit and all the blame. What a strategic move.
Yeah, moving the chess pieces to make them the face of the decisions.
Yeah, like the power or the praise and the backlash all fall on them.
Praise
Perfect.
and glory be the phrased names. All the glory.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Any final thoughts, Glenn?
Not really. Yeah, I like the point you just made. I think, yeah, put Walder Frey out there just because, if the North, they want to get revenge, I think it's going to start there. So at least it's not a direct route to the Lannisters, I think. It'll be Frey's for what they did, and then maybe the Lannisters. Although the Lannisters did, there's still Ned to think about.
We'll always have Ned to think about.
Right.
The North remembers? Isn't that a
North
thing?
The
North.
The North Face.
King of the North.
Nerf gun.
King of the North Face jacket.
All right, let's go hang out with Varys in Shea Stadium, or hashtag Shea Stadium. Varys counsels hashtag to leave, not for gold, but to keep Tyrion safe. Anybody want to start here?
Mine's pretty obvious. If he wants me to leave, he can tell me himself. He fucking has.
He fucking has.
He fucking has.
He has told you multiple times, leave, go away, goodbye, good day, sir.
You lose. Good day, sir.
And yet you stick around. So, sorry, this scene, it's like you heading out. You got out, but
you told Slugworth.
But has he ever said to her?
Not since he's brought her to King's Landing.
So this is what I'm.
Probably. No, probably not.
I'm not gonna get an argument over it because
I don't know.
I mean it's pretty obvious. Like this needs to happen. I think I said it a long time ago. She's gonna have to go at some point.
Get it?
But
Cut
in her defense, I mean. There's a guy who's like, you would be so much better off without me. And she's like, well, I love you, so I'm okay. Well, don't you think that blah, and it's so hard and it's dangerous here. You know what? If you want me to leave, look me in the eyes and break up with me. Don't make this my choice because you don't want to be the bad guy. Grow some balls, look me in the face and say, leave me alone.
And don't text me about it.
And don't text me about it. No email. No voicemail.
Who wears the balls in this relationship?
Yes, exactly. Like, I don't necessarily think... I think she wants that face-to-face, like, it's going to be hard for you, and it's going to be awkward, and I am doing this and hanging on because I know you don't want to... this isn't necessarily what you want, and if it is, be a man and suck it up.
So, question for you,
Yep.
Abby.
Yep.
did Tyrion send Varys to have this conversation?
I don't know.
I'm asking. What do you think? What do you think? Because it sounds like what you're saying is you feel like Tyrion sent him. That's just what it sounds like from what you're saying. So I'm asking, how do you feel about it?
I don't think he actually sent him. I think Varys has a lot of birds and knows kind of what's going on with a lot of people, and maybe has the fact that this would benefit everybody, the realm included. And I think Varys has a huge interest in Tyrion because of the reasons he gives in this scene about how good he is for the realm. But I don't think it was necessarily Tyrion going to Varys and saying, please go get this done. Get her out of here.
Break up with my girlfriend for me.
Right. Exactly. I don't think it was from him.
Anyone else a thought on that?
I think this was Varys reading the room, reading the situation, and taking a stab.
Right. I would agree. But I think it definitely comes off as like she believes that Tyrion sent him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
that's definitely what she seems to.
She seems to think. I don't know. I don't think so, though.
Yep. I agree with what all of you said.
Perfect. Somebody take over the show while I try to fix my broken cork.
Right. He asks,
my wine uncorked.
He asks her, "Why did you come to this strange country?" And like basically, is a comparison of both of them are from the other side of the narrow sea. Took a while to get to where they are because it's a long journey.
Can't cross
across the sea
in one go.
Not in one day or anything like that. So if you were to fly, it's going to take long.
A couple stops along the way.
Anyways, he's just basically saying you need to get the fuck out of here, basically because you're a burden and you're going to fuck something up. And
this is a ridiculous amount of money. Please leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to be able to afford a lot.
Yeah, more than even what Tyrion could probably, in good company, do for you with, and you can be an independent woman, and do your own fucking thing and have servants if you want to and just become a big deal.
Is Varys that rich?
I think he's been well compensated for a long time, and he doesn't have much to.
He doesn't spend it on flashy stuff at all.
Yeah,
Or horse.
Right.
Usually.
On condoms or.
Yeah.
Little use for the condom budget.
Gotcha. Savings.
Savings.
Hashtag savings. Perfect. Anybody else? Right here.
Nope, that was a scene.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Sorry. I had a wine problem. So, we're going to go see Tyrion, Pod, and Cersei. Tyrion and Pod share a drink, and Cersei gives advice to give Sansa a child to keep her happy. Benji.
Come on, Pod. Pour more. It's not easy being drunk all the time. It feels easy. Everyone would do it. Cheers. I do like that they're becoming closer. Like he's looking at Pod not as a friend, but he kind of wants to corrupt him and just be like, come on, drinking with me. You already fucked the whores. I'm envious of you for that. So, let's have some fun. And then, of course, Cersei comes in to kill the mood.
Where's Bronn?
He's working.
Yeah, he's commanding no, he's not in charge of the gold cloaks anymore.
He's a knight now.
Yeah.
He's got duties.
He's somewhere. He's hanging around. He's doing something.
Now he's on my list. Where's Benjen? Where's what's his name I just mentioned?
Sirio Fidel.
Yes.
And Bronn.
There we go. And Bronn. I got 3 of them going right now.
Jackin.
And I know. He definitely. Who knows? And my other one is, where is Nymeria? That's my last one.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
That's my list.
So you have 5 on your list. The reverse of Arya's list.
The big
Yes.
5.
Need to be found alive and well.
Have you seen us?
Yeah. I would put out wanted posters. And then nobody can respond to them because you can't tell me.
Yeah.
where they actually
Every
are.
one of these people comes back.
Yeah,
Just put it on the milk cartons and stuff.
Yeah.
I
Start
definitely
sending
won't
them
put it
around.
on Twitter. That'll be terrible.
Yeah, you'd regret that.
Yeah. So let's go with. Sorry, I'm reading people's comments, trying to keep this in sync here. But Glenn, we'll go to you.
So we find out this scene that Cersei is not going to marry Loras as much as she can handle, or it's not going to happen according to her.
No one cares what your father says.
But it's just like whatever, I do I want. And then like Tyrion's like, well, I thought the same thing about my marriage, and I was forced to do it. So and she's like, nope, that's not how it works.
That ain't me.
I do me.
Try me. Yeah, she does think highly of herself or her power. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. Luke.
Yeah.
So the two of them are talking, Cersei and Tyrion, and they're kind of talking about the Red Wedding, I believe. And Tyrion's like, we kill one enemy and more sprout up. How long will this? And does he say
two enemies? Yeah.
And two more
gain
sprout
two
up.
enemies.
So basically, it's the classic Herculean Hydra problem. You cut one head off and two more.
Couple more grow back.
When will it end? And she says, it's gonna take a while.
It'll be a minute.
It's gonna be a hot minute.
Yeah. So I think I understood that scene differently for some reason. I took it as he says, how long does it go on? And I thought he meant how long do we let Joffrey be in control? And she says, until we have dealt with all our enemies. Is that
you might,
I guess maybe
you take better notes than I do, and I could be mixing it up a little bit with a different scene.
That might be the next thing that she says about it.
Correct. Both are.
Both
okay.
Correct.
I think it goes in like a series of a conversation, and she says, or he asks, like, how long does it go on? And
till all of our
she
enemies
says,
are dealt with.
And then about the enemy sprouting more, as I think how it goes. But I thought it was pretty interesting that here again we have both of them admitting to each other without necessarily saying names, like what a problem Joffrey is. And I also like that she even tells him, like, her reasoning for giving Sansa a child, like, to keep her happy and give her something. And I thought it was actually really sweet the way she phrased it, was because to have somebody of your very own, like someone who is yours. And I think any parent who's very involved with their child, not just a mother, but any parent, that's like, they're yours. And to give somebody that type of happiness is something worth living for, at least. And Tyrion asks her about Joffrey, and she says, even Joffrey, which I think, as crazy and fucked up as he is, she's still his mom. Like,
and she can never turn that off.
Yeah, that's just inherently in her.
Yeah,
like, you can't fault her particularly for that.
Doesn't she say something along the lines of, they always say, the bad babies turn out bad and all this?
Yes.
I was hoping they'd be wrong.
No, she said they are wrong because he was a good baby.
Oh,
and
okay.
He was a really good baby, apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. That's what it was.
Good baby.
She calls him a joyful
Nice
little
baby.
fellow or something like that. Like,
I'm sorry, baby.
happy and just turned into it one day. So.
Excuse me, baby. Can I have that beer back?
All right. So, last scene in King's Landing, Jaime, Brienne, and Cersei. Jaime makes it home and shows off to his queen. The prodigal son returns.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Except Gled.
Yeah, I think it just seemed like the look on Jaime's face was like he was going to get a good welcoming, and it just was not a big homecoming as he might have maybe expected, or because he's just kind of smiling, and then people are just telling him to fuck off left and right, and he's like, oh.
Yeah.
Did any of them know he was coming? I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to talk to that a little bit, because he's basically treated like a commoner here in the streets. The one guy's like, fuck off, farm boy. Like,
goddamn farmers.
Just because, one, like, I don't see why he should be confused right now. He's the one that actively shaved off or let his beard grow out, right, and grew his hair long, and didn't send word ahead of time for his own protection. You know, that was like this whole season. He was like, well, I don't want anyone to know who I am. When you show up here, no fucking clue. No one's going to know who you are.
They don't.
Yeah.
Right.
You didn't send word ahead.
No shit.
And you're also missing a sword hand.
Right,
So,
yeah.
It
Right.
can't be him. He has two hands.
He should not be surprised. The
Yeah.
thing that's really disappointing is what I think you're going to get to.
Yeah. That 12-6 look on Cersei's face after she hears his voice but turns around and sees him is fucking brutal. She, hears him, she perks up, she's like, and turns
Oh
around.
God! What a monstrosity!
Oh, no.
It's like just kind of grimy as their relationship is, and like against nature. It is really sad to watch that because you can see Jamie, like, to him, he walks in, you see him first, like, to her back, and you can see, like, the relief, like, I'm home, I'm whole,
Everything
I'm good,
I've gone through.
it's worth it at this very moment. And she turns around and is like, oh.
This is what I get.
This
is what I get back. The
yes.
fuck.
Exactly.
Ew.
Now
Damn
who's
it, Glenn.
now,
I want to go buy some new shoes instead.
now who's the half man?
Yeah, exactly. So I felt really bad for Jamie, and possibly it turns a different way. Like that's just shock and the initial, like, who's this homeless farmer man in my
Who's this homeless guy?
Hey, farmer, get out of here!
yeah, like what the
Fuck off,
fuck? And then she
farm
realizes
boy.
who it is. So maybe we have a
What are you
chance
doing in the
for a
Queen's
more
quarters?
happy reunion. But yeah, it's definitely not what he was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. He can go be in love with Brienne or whatever. That'll be okay with me.
Okay.
That'll be all right. Anything else on the big letdown?
Welcome home, Jamie.
Yeah, welcome home.
Welcome home. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Cotter.
Perfect. It just felt like Chip and Joe.
Chip and Joanne.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Chip and
right.
Joe's.
So, the Night Fort. Bran, Hodor,
Chip and
Mira, Jojen, and Summer. We learn the fate of the Rat Cook. Luke.
I really like the Rat King story. It really brings kind of precedence as to how big of a deal what Walder Frey and Roose Bolton have done to the at least like the collective northern culture. Like, it's a big deal. Like, that's like the one thing the gods cannot forgive.
Yeah.
And Walder Frey mentioned it that the Seven can't forgive that. Before the Red Wedding happened, Bran saying that the old gods will not forgive that. You can be a kinslayer, a kingslayer, all these things, and that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
But killing a guest underneath
That's
your
bad.
roof, that's bad-er.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's-
You're a
that's
different
just
color
terrible.
than me, and that's bad.
Well, at least I don't have a stupid name like Scout.
Hold on a minute.
I thought it was funny that they are not even technically beyond the wall yet, and Bran is like basically speaking of the feelings, like he's getting, I don't like this here. This is kind of creepy. Oh man, like they're fucked beyond the wall. You're gonna be creeped out all the time. Not that it's not warranted, but I just thought it was funny. Like, he's a little spooked here, and shit hasn't even gotten real yet. So we'll see how they fare. Glenn?
Yeah, this is one of the first instances of a Hodor echo.
We get a multi-Hodor.
Oh my! We were watching this last night, and it was very late, and my youngest woke up, and he woke up right at this part, and he wakes up and he goes, "Hodor!" It was hilarious. I videoed it, but
Hodor.
it was awesome. It was super awesome.
Yeah, and then also, like, if done right, one can cook one's son into a pie, and it would be delicious.
It would be delicious.
More pie.
I mean,
And you can have
sometimes
second helpings.
it's like hot dogs. Like, if you know how you see hot dogs being made, you're not gonna like them. But if you don't, and you just don't care,
Ignorance
they're gonna be
is
good.
bliss.
Yeah.
Cooked up bliss in sausage link form.
right?
And,
Oh man.
And going to Luke's point, I do like how this scene, this episode very much transitions really well from scene to scene, and this one transitions right to Walter Frey, I believe, eating some pie, or at least eating something off of his plate, but
eating food of some sort.
Yeah, I want to say it's a piece of pie or something, but it's a good juxtaposition of going from the story of the Rat King to, oh wait, yeah, remember what this guy just fucking did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
And he's literally eating pie. It's metaphoric. All right, so we're going to go with, well, Bran, Hodor, Mira, Jojen, Summer, Sam, Gilly, and the Babe. My note is, oh, looky here. Looky who we have here.
Something you've been calling for weeks.
Well, they're like, look, we're going up to this castle over here, whatever. And they're like, we're going north. How are we going to get through the wall? Then Sam gives us the answer in the next, how they're going to get through the wall. And it just was meant to be. So, hiya. Good teamwork. I do think that a man of the Night's Watch is taken down by a teenager. The South is fucked at this point. Like, she takes him out. And he only had, please, don't hurt me. Like, you know. Oh, man.
Well, he knows where his place is.
To be fair, he's not a stud
Yes.
by any means.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's sweet and cute. And
Now, I had
What else?
one side note before my other note. Didn't they say last episode that the Night Fort is the largest castle along the wall and
Yes.
all that? That's why it's
Largest
no
and
longer
oldest.
manned.
mm-hmm.
Or, yeah, no longer manned.
Too much effort.
How unlikely is it that Sam and Gilly would run into the group of four? You know, I mean,
Like that easy.
That easy. You know, it's you're in a massive castle. You know, it's just I had that thought yesterday while I was watching. I'm like, really? Yeah, okay. You know, but I mean, plot. You know?
for how loud they were when they were kind of coming through.
Hodorin. You know.
Right. This scene really reminds me of the Mines of Moria in Lord of the Rings, where Pippin knocks the bucket down the well inside the mines. And it's just like ratcheting it around for like 5 minutes.
Fool of a took.
Fool of a took. He's like, you, what the fuck, man? Like, there goes any chance of us, knowing that we're here. And
Yeah.
It just the Hodor thing opening up with that just instantly makes me think of Pippin.
Yes. That's a good scene.
So I do like how Sam calls out Jojen kind of for his BS when Jojen's like, the Night's Watch and the Kings of the South can't stop the White Walker. And Sam just like looks at him and like, and you can?
And you're going to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know he wasn't quite
So-
calling him out. It was kind of a 50-50, like, you think you can? All right, I'm with you. But you're also, really, you?
In my actual notes, I have almost exactly what you wrote, except I was like, even the voice of reason, Sam, is semi-questioning this. It's not a good plan. I think they're going to be just fine. They're going to do it. But, like, even Sam, who is always, like, looking contextually around, helping Jon accept, his fate as a steward, like, look, this is good for you. I'm not good. If Sam questions it, I'm going to question it. That's my new philosophy.
I like when Sam's trying to kind of convince Bran that it's like, yeah, I know Jon, and like he sees the dire wolves, and he's like, oh, I've heard about them too, and I've heard all about Hodor, and Hodor's just like, Hodor. He's just like, oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I've been around ghosts long enough to spot a
See what a
dire wolf.
direwolf is. And, that's kind of one of my notes. But I
But
also had.
and that's fine, and that's okay.
It looks like Sam's like the boogeyman here, where kids are trying to sleep, and then the boogeyman comes out, and
I'm the boogeyman, and
nobody
I'm
really
going to
knows
get
what
you.
the boogeyman looks like. It just
Looks like
big boogie.
Same way as Tarly
Yeah,
apparently.
it does.
Blundering.
But yeah, Sam connects the dots by seeing Summer. I think that's his first inklage of, wait a second, I know who you guys are.
We'll say Bran
smart.
does kind of let it slip. He's like, what?
You know my brother?
You know
and
my-
Jojen's like, shut the fuck up.
Quiet, you.
That's enough. Good scene though.
Direwolf.
Yeah.
That's a good one, I guess. Jojen, he kind of bothers me a little bit. I'm trying to get on the Jojen train, but he kind of bothers me. Like,
How does the Jojen train sound?
Exactly.
And yes, we did rehearse that.
That was pretty fantastic. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
why can't we have Jojen with the mental disorder? Joke.
Well, I can make that happen for you for our show exclusive. So,
Join us in for a 20-minute orchestra of the Jojen Train.
what do they have?
It's coming to a theater near you.
The wizard music. We have just made the Game of Thrones.
The
new song.
Wizard Rock. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
Jojen.
Yeah, all right, enough.
All right, back on the Jojen Train.
Okay. We're just gonna go to the Dead Fort. Dread Fort. Oh god.
Well, we
This
got one
is
more.
dead.
We got one more scene in the Night Fort.
Do we? Damn it.
Fort to fort.
Okay.
Between
we?
two forts.
Should we just do a Jojen train?
We do. Right above where the
all
Dreadfort.
transitions now from scenes. We're gonna go to a Jojen Train.
So are we? Okay, here we go. Sam gives the group some dragon glass and why it's useful. The cripple, the giant, and the frog kids head north of the wall. So,
the giant, the frog.
yeah.
Thank you.
That's
So-
your best one yet.
All right, fair enough.
Am I here to assume that Sam did grab the dragon glass?
I think
Yes.
he had a big pack of them though.
Yeah, he had a bundle.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
He may have left that one.
one. Sure.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
even
man.
in this, he gives Mira the arrowheads, so he had to have held on to the bag,
Some-
the package.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he had the pack.
Okay,
He was holding the package.
there you go. Always hold your package. It's a good life lesson.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Always Glenn with my reassurance of my good ideas. Glenn, tell us something interesting about
Yeah, I
this.
think Sam, like at this point, he's said his piece, and he's not like a controversial character. Like he's not going to argue and get in a pissing match or anything like that. But he just kind of accepts that they're going on their mission. They're doing their thing, I guess. He tried to convince them to follow him to Castle Black, but at this point, they're just not going to do it, and he's done, convincing. So he gives them the tricks of the trade to, get to where they need to go, I guess. So
Yeah, so it's kind of with mine. Sam could really learn to start saying no. If he really didn't want them to go through, go to the north because he didn't feel it'd be safe, he could have just said, well, I'm not going to, stop you, but I'm just not going to show you the secret little passage down here and figure it out yourself. But kind of no spine on that one because I think he does believe that they might be the hope or whatever.
The hope, the dream, everything we've been waiting for.
Yeah. Because at one point,
Obi-Wan.
he's like, well, I've seen shit, north of the wall. Why the hell you want to go there? And I think Jojen's just like, you mean the White Walkers, right?
Yeah.
Like let's just
Yeah.
just say that.
Well, how'd you know that?
And Brian right there, he's like, I don't want to. I have to. Gotta get back on that Jojen train and keep a riding, Jojen.
All aboard the Jojen train.
Tickets, please. Validate at the station.
Jojen to ride.
All right, I'm gonna take this Jojen train somewhere else.
Yeah, we're going to the Dread Fort, I hope, this time, for real. No, I don't. Can we just skip this scene, please?
Nope.
God.
Nope.
We could do a Jojen train transition.
Jojen train transition.
All
Insert here.
right. Let's just talk about hot sausages. So,
Sausages smell like sausages.
Ramsey and Theon. Ramsey enjoys a nice pork sausage as Theon is missing his. And Theon gets a new name.
I always wonder if eunuchs have a phantom cock.
I bet you do.
Next time you think about a girl, I wonder if you feel the itch. And at the end, or well, I'm gonna leave my
blood
note till the very
flowing
part. But yeah, I wonder if you feel an itch with a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle,
Wiggly tough.
wiggly tough.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, so basically, Ramsey is teasing Theon by eating a penis-shaped food, just after he lost his, like we said in the thing. And everybody knows that penis-shaped foods are the best kinds.
I think that might
We've
be
learned
true.
that in previous films.
Your in-depth research has shown this. I already thought that Theon was pretty broken. I mean, his will to live, lack of spirit, everything was kind of gone from him. But this right here is you see him break, and that was hard for me to watch. Like, it's not so much. I know I'm not supposed to like Theon. I know he deserves punishment, but I wish he would just kill him. Like, this to me is, and maybe because I know Bran and Rickon are alive, I feel like it's just this extreme, just kill him and be done with it. And to watch him break was just
and he's
very
he's begging to get
uncomfortable.
killed at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's asking, like, just kill me. And I wanted him, like, I didn't want to admit it, but I wanted him to keep saying Theon Greyjoy. Like, just don't give in. Don't give in. And then he did, and I was like, damn it. Like,
After 3 punches, too.
Reek-
I mean,
Reek Greyjoy?
I know they got
Well,
consolidated
I
and they
mean-
can't go on and on, but
But, I mean, he's also been in this, for me, I feel like forever. Weeks he has been strapped up to that thing, tortured, tormented, psychologically, I mean, just fucked. And now, not that I would think necessarily 3 punches, but I don't think it's just like, oh, 3 punches and you're done, you suck, bro. Like,
no, I know.
it just...
And I'm not saying that. I'm just going with I wish they may have drawn it on a little bit further.
Oh,
It was
God,
enough.
no.
3 punches
I
is
think
enough.
it's been...
It's been enough.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I
it's just
was gonna-
rough.
Well, at the end of it, after he gets him to say, and he goes, it would have been a perfect time for Ramsay to say, "You must remember your name." Well, I was so hoping because I couldn't remember if he says it in here because that's definitely a book thing that Theon keeps thinking over and over and over again of. My name is Reek. You must remember your name. And so like, I think that would have been a perfect spot for Ramsay.
Just to put a catchphrase more than anything.
Yeah, just put a catchphrase, but put that nail in the, that kind of last bit of, or I guess last wink to the audience kind of thing.
What? So Theon has his own chapters, his POV in the books.
Mhm.
Oh, that's going to be bad. Okay. Sorry,
We'll
just
get there.
mentally
Yeah.
preparing.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah,
We'll get there.
But
Alright.
for now, his name is Reek.
There we
Reek.
go.
So that's pretty rough. Pretty rough stuff.
Yep. Not fun. All right, are we ready to move on to something even more fun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not
Woohoo.
really that much,
Woo,
but
let's get on the Jojen train. Let's go to the next scene.
all right, we're going on the all
Hop on
aboard
the
to
train.
hike. We have Balon and Yara. They get a letter and a gift from Ramsay Snow, and Yara sets off to bring Theon home. I have in here Yara with 50 body slayers on a fast boat. It's going to be my clue thing. I'm going to try to get as many in here as I can for the next 3 episodes. We'll see how it goes. Encourage me.
Clue thing?
Like clue, Yara on a boat, or Yara in the courtyard.
Yara with the
Yara with-
candlestick on a
yes.
boat.
Yara with the Dagmere.
Okay.
Yep, that's going to be it.
So in this scene, this is, I think, where we have it confirmed that Ramsay indeed did slaughter all of the Ironborn men when they had that set up to leave Winterfell.
Oh.
Because
Yes.
Roose and Walder Frey were talking earlier, because Walder's like, what happened up there? And, I never really heard. And we kind of talked about that before, but they basically just say, we had an agreement that they were going to let the Ironborn go, but they were going to keep, that we were going to keep Theon. So Roose doesn't even know, as far as we can tell, that Ramsay did go ahead and slaughter all of the Ironborn anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
At least in this, if we're to believe here in this letter. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think that's interesting that this is the way that it's confirmed to us that he does indeed kill them all.
Right. And you see Ramsay tell basically Balon to, have a dick. And Balon just doesn't care about Theon anymore. So he's not going to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's not even my son anymore.
Right.
He's not even a man.
He's not a man.
I took away Theon's favorite plaything, favorite toy. He was so happy, or he was so sad when I took it.
Yeah.
Pride.
But Yara, you can still see that Yara cares
Yeah.
and is going to do something about it. Be proactive. Get him back, cock or no.
Well, I mean, she's seen her brother's cock now. There's
Yeah,
Can't
definitely.
see that. It was
There's
in a
that.
box.
Yara's
Confirmed.
can confirm.
Yara's just pissed because she's like, nobody gets to cut his cock off but me. Come on, the fucking dick.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a
fucking
dick.
anymore. Thanks for noticing.
I thought it was pretty ballsy of Ramsey. So
Ballsy.
yeah, ballsy. He sends a letter.
He's really cocksure.
Yeah, and like signed from himself. From Ramsey Snow, son of Roose Bolton, and like gives his dad's titles. But like this, to me, it's just a very, I don't know if it's an appropriate type of gesture coming from him, is where I'll leave it right now. It just caught me a little like, ooh, okay.
A questionable political move.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, I agree.
okay, like he's pulling some power here. Like that's can be good for him. Like I don't like him, and I'm on the bad guy's side of him. I think he kind of creeps me out. But as far as a power balance right here, this is a power move to me.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where that goes with that one. Anybody else about Yara going after her brother?
It was a cool shot of the ship, of her walking the bow and everybody just going. And you hear the I believe the Greyjoy theme kind of roaring
Swell.
with it. Yeah, the swell.
Yeah, it's nice to see that she's really doing this. You know, it's because they've had their ups and downs.
Yeah.
You know, whenever he didn't recognize her and she kind of pulled the wool over his eyes and tricked him. But that's still her brother, and the fact that she has her priorities,
And she
in
even
that
tried to
way.
warn him away from Winterfell, like, leave with me. Come on. You know, you did it. Good job. We need to, you're not going to hold, though. And, so she's always been trying to protect him. And this is just another.
Also impressive against her father, who is a pretty dictator type of person, or gets what he wants.
Yeah.
There you go. She says, no, this is what I'm going to go do. And then, against her father's will, or maybe he's just like, whatever, Yara, she commands power herself. Like, people respect her, her father respects her, and the men she takes, it looks like, maybe not willingly because they're loyal to them or whatever, but they're behind her. They're in the boat, they're ready to go. Pretty cool chick, I think.
a bad
Pretty
bitch,
One bad bitch.
One bad
That's
sea
right.
bitch.
sea bitch.
Ooh, yeah. So let's go to Dragonstone, where we have Davos and Gendry. The two have a nice discussion about Flea Bottom and how they've gotten to where they are now. Benji.
It's a long story. Oh, better not then. I'm pretty busy at the moment. Gendry was odd at this scene. He was just like hitting a couple good one-liners, and it was a nice scene, because they kind of both can see everything or see where they're both coming from. And I do like the line of she was using big words and she was naked.
No
what was I supposed to do? Yeah, she was.
What would you have done?
What was I supposed to do?
Yeah, I think Davos kind of understands that, like, yeah, she's a good-looking lady, and it's just something that I think he realizes that they both have a lot in common, Gendry and Davos.
Mhm.
I mean, they both came from the same place, been in a cell before, and other stuff.
Salesmanship.
Salesman.
And even with that, Davos is like, yeah, she definitely knows her way around a man's head, because I think that's kind of his commentary on how Stannis is acting around her and basically acting because of her advice in these things.
When he took her to wherever...
Storm Zone.
I'm sorry. Is that where he took her to have that little shadow baby thing?
No.
Or
yeah.
kind of.
Kind of.
It was-
Okay,
it was
so
in the
anyways...
Stormlands.
Okay.
She gets out and she says to him, like, you want me. And he doesn't necessarily, like, throw away or, like, deny it. Like, he's not like, you're crazy, nothing. He kind of looks at her like, well, you're pretty hot.
Only reason to kick her out of bed is pucking on the floor.
But, I think that is a hint at that, too. Not necessarily him, but questioning. Like, oh, no, this is a really bad decision. But for a split second, okay, like, you're not so bad looking. I think he understands. Him and Gendry are very alike.
And that's the main thing I kind of took from this. It took Gendry a little bit to kind of accept that Davos is the same as him. He was like, yeah, I heard she called you sir. And he's like, that's a recent thing. He's like, okay, whatever. Like, good one. I don't believe you. And Davos is like, yeah, I grew up in Flea Bottom too. And he's like, oh, okay, how close to the Red Keep? And he goes through, where I lived, the shit would flow down Aegon's Hill all the way to, Gin Alley. And the Davos, that was enough for Gendry to kind of be like, okay, you can't just make that up unless you actually know what you're talking about.
You've been there.
And then Davos calls him back. He's like, yes, Street of Steel. You lived in the fancy part of town, you prick.
Yeah.
I just thought that was great of him to be like, yeah, I'm from even lower than you. Trust me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's always up to go. Just don't be a cunt about it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it was interesting. You can see that Gendry is lonely. Like, he's asking Davos questions, I think, just to talk to somebody, almost, is the feeling I got. And he asked him, like, how did you become a lord? And he said, I did it for my son. So he wouldn't have to walk over a pile of shit every time he walked in his front door. And Gendry said,
Did it work? Or
yeah, something like that.
So where's he now?
Yeah, where's he now? And he said he's dead. And that's pretty like, oh shit. He became a lord for his son, not necessarily his own ambitions, but to better his son's life. And then, how did he die? And Davos says, following me. Like, to bear that weight as a father, I think that's...
That guilt.
I don't think I realized that's necessarily how he felt about it before this moment. Like, I know he felt that his son was too believing in the Red Witch. I thought he put too much stock in her and that he died and this was bad. But I don't think I realized he put the blame on himself. So I was like, man, that sucks for him.
I agree.
Poor Davos.
That sucks for him. That's rough.
Poor Davos.
Woof. Woof.
Rough.
rough.
Bark. Bark. Woof. Woof.
Glenn, you got anything? You have no notes.
I already said it a little bit, so
Perfect.
He
I
has
wasn't
move on.
listening.
Said
to
his
this.
piece. Jojen
Said
train.
my piece.
Next scene.
So Davos, Shireen, is that right? Shireen,
Shireen.
Stannis, Mel, and Gendry. Davos gets word from the Night's Watch and learns about Robb's death and sets Gendry on a 3-hour tour.
the 3
Pretty
hour
funny.
tour.
We're gonna start with Benji here.
Niggets? Niggets? What? I did like that he's learning to read, and he's and then he gets the message about the Night's Watch and kind of throws it in his pocket. But then he goes to talk to Stannis, and they find out about the Red Wedding and Robb and everything. But the line is, "What is life, one bastard boy against the kingdom? Everything." Everything, my lord, or my grace. And that's Davos with the hard truths, always. Because if you can't defend the few, why do you get to control the many? Is kind of his point with that.
Yep. Glenn.
Yeah, Davos he's kind of like the manager of a pop singer or something like that. Or responding to fan mail. You get like a million letters and like they get a letter back like, oh, that was from Justin Bieber. Oh my God, like. No, it was just from some, campaign manager or something that's responding to all these letters or something like that, and then like the other point I was going to bring up is like Davos is like saying that Gendry's a good lad, like he's a good boy, like, and they're like, well, we're going to kill him or whatever, and they had to know that he was going to do something about it, like. So I don't see how they couldn't have seen why they're going to release Gendry. It just seemed like the next logical step.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid on their part.
Or at least like keep him, close to their nose a bit. You know?
And
Right.
he's going on. He's like, uniting the 7 kingdoms using blood magic is wrong. It is evil. You are not an evil man. And he's like, a drop of this kid's blood, quote unquote, killed Robb Stark. Like, can we not try that again? And even there,
Just the drops.
Mech is like, and he's no closer to the Iron Throne. Get the fuck out of here. What's one king down? Like, that's literally 20% closer than you were.
The only thing I'll say to that is,
this is my 30.
I don't think Robb Stark was a big threat to Stannis.
Sure, and
like they could have
they could have
battled
sown
the
for peace.
Lannisters. Yeah, that too. Or they could have dumbed down one of the armies, and then, one of them would have died anyways. So,
yeah, I just thought it was funny. She was like, "And he's no closer to the Iron Throne." I was like, "Well, we have an issue of
let's
three
try that
kings,
again and see if another one goes down.
Right? Yeah. Let's keep on
Before
this
we
path.
jump to conclusions. If you will.
One is not three, my lord.
we need a jump to conclusions pad.
Jump to conclusions, man. The guy made $1 million.
I really like the Davos, a.k.a. Michael Schofield, ness of this that went down. It was pretty awesome. I mean, he did not have tattoos or nearly as much of an intricate plan. He kind of just went down there and let him out.
It's pretty straightforward.
I mean, like,
this prison break.
Right. Like, what kind of prison or cell is this? It's terrible.
Well, he's
they
the
need to
hand
rethink
of
this.
He's the hand of the king.
He can walk in, say he's coming with me, and just walk him right the fuck out.
This was a very terrible plan by Stannis, but I think maybe Stannis knew it was going to happen.
Can you
so it was like,
swim?
okay.
Just think about
Yeah.
how easier Michael J. Schofield would have had it if he was hand of the king.
He would have had less tattoos, though, so I call that no.
It's true.
But yeah, can you swim? No.
That's-
Don't fall out the boat.
Don't fall out.
Yeah. Have you ever been on a boat? No. Do you know how to swim?
Which
No.
is not true.
Don't fall out.
Well, a boat,
Like a
different than a ship.
Yes.
A rowboat
Okay,
where you have to
fair.
do some
Yeah.
labor.
It's even like
And
the other way.
you see Gendry again questioning like why somebody's doing something for him. He's like, "Why are you doing this?"
Is this
He
some
says,
kind of
"Because
trick?
it's-"
It is.
Yeah, like
Yeah, but not on you.
right. Because it's right, and I'm a slow learner. Like he's just charming. I like Davos.
Yeah, he's,
he's
a
a good
He's a
guy.
good bloke.
Do the people know what your face looks like? No. All right, good. Well, be more concerned about the Red Witch.
Right, she does,
Yeah.
and she's looking for you.
Right. Bad idea. All right, shall we move,
We shall.
gentlemen?
All
All right. Stannis, Mel, Davos. Stannis sentences Davos to death for freeing Gendry. Davos warns of war to the He warns of war to the north, and Mel and her god spare the Onion Knight. ... For now.
For now.
Forever. I thought it was like I'm trusting her. I believe what she is saying here is true. Is the best way I can say this. I don't think she's lying. What I've realized that I have trust issues with is wondering if the Lord of Light is the power that I want to follow. I don't know where those motives come from. I believe she is some type of beacon for this magic or power or God or whatever it is. I believe her in those truths she's been speaking to people. What I don't know if is this the right path you should be on? That's my problem here. And
So
I
you
kind of
agree
this
that the power is there, but the intentions maybe
Yeah.
should be questioned.
and it yes, and I don't even know if I fault Mel here because she has this power and obviously she is getting a physical like
She's getting a physical
confirmation confirmation of
Cough.
its
Cough.
realness and
Cough.
I've realized that it's not necessarily her I don't
Oh.
trust. It's literally the Lord of Light
Yeah,
and that motivation. So
it's fair.
It's fair.
My second note on this was I found it kind of interesting how fast she accepts that there's an issue up north that needs to be dealt with. So it's kind of like, can she read the flames that quickly? Like she reads the note, throws in the fire, and just decides, or is she just maybe has seen something before, but this is just confirmation? You know, so it just the quick turnaround was kind of a.
I would say the way for how quickly it happens, it feels like more of the second item there. It's more of she's been seeing signs and something about this flips a switch that says this is confirmation on something I didn't realize. This is a
is
piece of
big.
information I didn't have that makes that vision or information make more sense now.
Yeah.
So I
That's-
think that's a pretty good catch. It's curious.
And then also interesting that Davos doesn't tell Stannis that Shireen actually teaching him how to read. He says Mathis taught me before he died. I don't know if that was more kind of a jab at Stannis because his son died alongside, when he was alongside him, or if it's to protect,
Just a noble lie.
Yeah, like to protect Shireen
Lie
from
to protect other people.
So I can't read how that one falls, but I find it. I did find it interesting that Shireen's not the one, getting the credit.
Mm-hmm. Rich Shatwell from the chat has a pretty good point here. He goes, as a viewer/reader, I think they try to push you to the old gods, but make sure you stay intrigued with the other religions because they actually do something that affects the world. It's the Red God is making these, or whatever is in charge of that, has these clear representations that are pretty straightforward. Like, he's getting credit for this, or this god's doing this. It's pretty flashy. It's noticeable.
For a long time, I thought there was like the old gods and the new gods. That was it. And then the Lord of Light shows up, right? But I've started to think that it's more than that. Like the Faceless Men, that's like a religion instead of just like an ethnic group or a region or like a little bandy tribe. Like that's their belief.
Okay.
So I think there's a lot more religions than I like. Probably if I went back and started like writing down, okay, these people kind of go here and this, I would end up with more than I could give you right here.
And what do we say to the god of tits and wine? Yes.
Drink.
My note about this scene is Davos is holding one last ace up his sleeve before being sentenced to death. So it was definitely like big news to like share with them, but he waited for the right moment to tell them, after they're going to kill him. He's like, wait a second, like, I got this.
Hold on just a minute there.
And what if he would have grabbed the wrong note and it was just like the invitation to the whoever's name day it was or whatever.
That's what it was, yeah. Hey, join us in our bat mitzvah. That's your saving grace, Davos?
You're relevant.
So whenever, Stannis is like, I sentence you to death, and I love how quickly Davos is like, well, since you haven't unnamed me hand of the king, I'm going to advise against this. I just
why.
love that. And here are my reasons. And it's just hilarious. He's like, since you haven't unnamed me, you can sentence me to death all you want. You have to specifically unname me hand of the king. You're going to need me, okay? Like,
and even Stannis kind of pauses at that, like, damn it, you're right.
What do I need from you? And that's when he holds out the.
And then even Melisandre's just like, yeah, he does play a role. Like, you can't kill him.
I just still have a lot of problems with hashtag not my Stannis. He is this representation of King Stannis Baratheon is so overly puss-whipped. It's really frustrating because he doesn't make a fucking decision here without Mel basically being the one that says, yeah, okay, yeah, we got to have him. Like, that's okay. Like, come on, man. Like,
I'm glad because
it's not right.
It ends up not killing Davos.
I mean, I'm all for the end game.
The end game. But no, I agree. It's because that's not Stannis. Stannis
I feel
makes
like Stannis
the decision.
could have made that decision because he knows it's right, not because he made he already made the sentence. That doesn't mean he has to stick to it if it's no longer accurate and correct.
Agreed. And he believes Davos did the right thing because he wouldn't have gone to like as Davos said last episode.
Right.
You waited until now to come and ask my counsel because you don't want her to do this. You want me to talk you out of it. So he basically knows Stannis wants me to get rid of you because it's not what they want. What the king wants.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Hashtag not my Stannis.
Not your Stannis.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even know the other Stannis, but this one's not mine for sure. I know. So we're gonna move on to the Riverlands.
Sure.
We have Arya, the Hound, the Freys. Well, some Freys. Freeman.
Freeman. Everyone loves Freeman.
Freeman.
So Arya and the Hound come across a group of the Freys reenacting the wedding. I'm gonna go with Benji.
Does fuck off mean something else where you're from? And it's like, well, I'm hungry. I'm cold. Good night. And just fuck off. I mean, I have money. I have silver or whatever. Sorry, I was throwing it to you, Glenn, on that one because it kind of ties into your.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, he was trying to throw it up. She dangles the coin, the Bravosi coin, at them, and a perfect little fumble of the coin. As the guy starts to pick it up, she kills him.
Yeah, she kind of goes ham on the ham.
She goes ham on the ham.
Nice him.
And then, like, the hound kind of lets all that play out before he comes in and just runs through the rest of them.
He lets her get hers. I like that. Like, he's
Right.
like, you know what? I'm gonna let.
I don't know what you're
she's
doing.
angry.
Yeah, because he's the one that was bragging about sewing the head on to Rob and all that, and also the one saying, "Oh yeah," making fun of Catelyn, getting her throat slit. So makes sense why Arya would focus in on him.
Yep. And man, terrible. But I like. My favorite part of the whole scene is when the Hound says to her, "Where did you get the knife?" "From you."
And
He's
looks
just
down.
like, "Oh shit!"
Son,
Like,
son of a bitch.
And he's just like, fuck. Next time, tell me first. God damn it. Like,
Next time you're going to do something like that, tell me first.
right.
Yeah.
I just love it. 'Cause, like, he's fine with the decision that was made. Just let's have a game plan at least. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fine with
Let me
going
act-
ham on these
Yeah.
jackasses.
Don't be a wild card about it.
Now
Right.
I do kind of like how he's like, "Is that the first man you killed?" And she's like, "First man,"
Right.
because she still counts the stable boy. That
Oh, and she should.
and she
Fat
should.
boy.
But yeah,
And it was a kill.
and it was a kill, but it was
Well,
one.
he absolutely gives her credit. Like, well, she's killed somebody.
Or credit
Like,
is
she makes a
due.
good
Yeah.
point. Like, no, it's not the first time I've killed, and he gets it. I think. I mean, pretty apparent. It was a good scene though.
Yeah.
At the very end of this, she says, "Valar Morghulis."
Yep.
I don't know if I've ever heard her say that before, though.
She has whenever Jock and Hagar forced her to learn it.
He
Oh
gave
no,
her the
no,
coin.
that's. But
Just say
she's
Valar.
never said it after, like, learning it until now. Is what I mean.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure because
That's fine.
I love her. I'm not saying like I just think it's something I would have noticed.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, that's
But-
completely fair.
I mean, I can't think of like a specific instance. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm not going to. So,
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
perfect.
so right now
Cool.
you're correct until the chat says otherwise.
Chat, back me up. Tell them I'm right. Can I get a point by you? So we're gonna go to the gift. We have John and Ygritte. John gives a meaningful goodbye, and Ygritte leaves a parting gift. So we have Ygritte with a bow in the gift.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. My only note was colon closed parentheses, frowny face.
Brown face.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's so much in love, but these are definitely Cupid's arrows. being
Yeah.
shot
I'm trying to keep him to
at
stay.
John. Yeah. So we'll see if that if he comes back.
Yeah, maybe he will
'Cause
once he
He's
recovers.
like, wait a
Yeah.
second.
I have a
I'm in love.
painful, but not deadly. Absolutely planned, and he kind of deserved it, in my opinion.
Yeah, but in his defense, I mean, what he is basically saying is like, you always knew who I was. You've always known what I was. We weren't. I never lied to you about that. I didn't lie about you telling you that I loved you because I do, and it sucks. And this is hard. We knew this was going to be tough, and basically an impossible thing. But guess what? You kind of forced the issue. You saved my life with it, and we wouldn't be here if you didn't. But like the fantasy is over. Like I have to go home now. Like I have to. Like that's where we're at in our story. And it sucks. But we can't do anything about it at this point.
I know.
It's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking on all levels. I just wish, could he just bring her with him?
Or
Put
just
her down at what is like Moles? No, what is it? Molestown or Fleece?
Yeah, you don't want
Just-
her in Molestown.
I just put her up in like a nice little apartment somewhere, not
Holy
crap.
too far away.
Yeah, do that.
Come on.
She would kill somebody in Molestown.
Well, he wouldn't want her in Molestown. Sorry,
Right.
Hit us up way.
That's
I
what
would
they
think
all
I
just
would
said.
want. I would want her in Molestown.
You're the worst.
You would too.
Yeah.
You would visit in a
She's
heartbeat.
in love with someone else. And
He's
that's
more
fine.
of a Dario about that, right, Luke?
I am. I'm not paying for that shit.
Exactly. So, Castle Black, everybody?
Get on that Jojen train. Going to Castle Black.
All aboard. Sam, Gilly, and Eamon. Sam defends his actions, warns of the impending night about to fall on them, and all the ravens are sent. And there's a boy named Sam, not Sue, but Sam.
Yeah.
Samson.
Yeah, so that's another one that you've called, right? You're like, she's going to name him Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. Confirmation. Perfect. That's my actual note is imagine that. So
Cool.
there you go. Luke.
You know, Sam is basically going through and he's like, I've seen some shit up there now, and he's trying to kind of defend why he brought Gilly with him, and he's like, we didn't build a wall 500 miles and 700 feet high to keep men out. Like that, no, that's not what we're fucking fighting here. He's kind of getting to the core of what we are here to do has nothing to do with the wildlings. And with all of the interaction that the viewer had with John and the wildlings and all that, that's what they think too. They're like, we're born on the wrong side of the wall, and that's like we're literally no different.
We're here to guard the realms of men.
Right.
The
Yep.
realms of men, and I do like how Sam, is growing, grew some backbone for Eamon, and for what he believes is right. Doesn't mention to how cute Gilly is, because Eamon can't see her. Just saying, but
Sure.
It's one of those because he was completely head over heels smitten at the beginning of last season with her. So, there is something there with him, but it's one also. He makes a good point of, we're here to guard the realms of men, and I did what was right.
Right. My note on the scene: ravens are on the move.
The ravens are marching.
Every one of them flies tonight, and he says something like, "How many ravens do we have? Like 40." So that means the top 40 houses are going to get a letter. So.
If those ravens are trained to go,
Right. They all have one destination.
Right.
So it might be House, Weirwood or whatever. Or
Craig Hall.
Craig Hall.
Great call. I'm a
Those
pervert.
perverts.
Oh, here's a note.
Strong bore.
All right. Sorry, you guys are having some choppy sounds over here.
Choppy.
Yeah.
Choppy. It's a little choppy waves today.
Good.
So
Tighten the phone cords.
I think we ran through everybody. I apologize.
Someone
I
put that
agree
phone
with
down.
you all.
Good
Good.
job. Good job,
job.
us.
Stamp of approval.
Abby approved.
Oh, sorry. So I'm just going to move on. If you can hear me, great. We have John, Sam, Pip. John makes it home with a few extra holes. Oh. Glenn.
So this is not a very big homecoming, but it was bigger than what Jamie got. So
Certainly.
yeah, they acknowledged him. They saw he had holes in him. They said he couldn't see. John says Pip and Sam. And he gets carried away.
Yeah.
Benji.
It was cute. Kind of going back to what Luke said of the Tolkien-esque reunion. John opens his eyes and there's Sam. Kind of like a Frodo opening his eyes and wherever the hell they were, Elrond or I don't know.
On, man.
I don't know.
Rivendell.
Fine. I don't know
At
Tolkien.
Elrond Hubbard's house.
Elrond Hubbard. I don't know Tolkien, but he opens up and is like, Sam. Kind of had that a similar feel to it, but it was cute, not all the same.
Luke.
John's home.
That's my note, too.
Welcome back. Welcome home, Johnny. That's all I've got, really. It's just
That's
nice
all.
to see him home. And then whenever they pick him up, he's like, pick him up nicely. They just lump him up on their shoulders.
Yeah, gently, and then I don't think that was very gently.
Yeah. So
Whatever.
yeah, that was all I had too. He's home. Like that's good news. That's really good news. Yonkai, anybody?
Yeah.
Whoa,
And it's too young guy.
that one hurt.
Man.
You're
blow-
Yonkai train
blow
too.
'em out. Young guy.
Yeah.
train.
Yep. So we have Danny, Jorah, Masandi, Barristan, Grey Worm, Daria, the Unsullied, Yonkai slaves. Danny waits outside of Yonkai to see how many freed slaves come to her.
And I believe, like usual, this is our
Ooh.
final scene.
It is our final scene.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Boom.
mammoths. For Abby. Cheers.
Thanks, buddy.
So you remember that Misa lady? I think
Yeah,
I just killed her. No, this is, I don't know. To me, it's kind of a weird scene. Is she's just like, saying her piece, and then they're just like, Misa, and just like eating it all up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like we all have a very similar. Like Benji has no comments.
Oh
in
yes.
here.
Oh him.
Oh,
I just
Of
didn't
Meg.
want to.
I mean, not that you,
well,
not that you don't have feelings about it. No, not.
that's
But I
actually-
feel like here, we all have a very similar. Like this is an awkward scene, right? Like it's just kind of weird.
Okay, Luke. Yeah, Luke has the same.
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead, Luke.
So I do like her speech.
Yes.
You know, the speech that because Missandei is going through and introducing her, saying, she's the breaker of chains and mother of dragons and all these titles, all these things. And Missandei goes, she is the reason you guys are free now. And that's where Danny's like, whoa, hold on. Easy on that. That's not what I'm going with. That's not what the PR press, the press release is going to say. And Danny comes out and she's like, your freedom is not mine to give you. You have to take it. I can help you maybe realize that you have that volition to do so, but at the end of the day, it's yours to take. And
Right.
then this is kind of where it becomes #problematic, I feel.
yes.
It is weird, like Glenn said, and it was kind of called out in social media when this came out that this hyper white savior figure just walks out into this sea of darker skinned colored people, and it's just like raised up like a goddess.
Yeah.
And Abby's Toad is freaking perfect here. It's just like, what?
Exactly.
Really, crowd surfing. That's the final scene of the season is crowd surfing. Like, and I'm a huge Danny fan. I don't even feel like I need to defend that. I'm not saying, I really like her. I like what she stands for. I like that she is powerful, and she hasn't always been perfect, but she is doing things with very good motivators, I believe. I have a problem with her crowd surfing. Like, it just seems so cheap to me. Just like we have this hyper white chick in a dark skinned, surrounded with it's too much.
With like
Yeah.
hundreds
just-
of people.
Yeah, my note.
Yeah.
I color coded it so because I thought I didn't want to piss you guys off, but I'm like, of course the white girl swoops in to save all the brown people.
Yeah,
it's-
that's
because okay, fine. In book to here, there is no racial component when it comes to slaves. It's like with the Greeks and the
that's
Romans.
crazy.
It's like the Greeks and the Romans. They would enslave Greek and Romans. It doesn't matter. Everybody's all. There's non-race stuff for the most part in the books. It's never really
Right.
specified. But the show, and I get it, it was filmed in Morocco. So when you're in Morocco and you need 1,000 extras,
Moroccans.
you're gonna get Moroccans.
Yeah, Moroccan. Right.
And not maracas.
Yeah. Well, you might have some Moroccas.
It could be.
That would have been fun.
Equal opportunity for maracas.
But so it's kind of one of those of I get how the scene played out. They weren't trying intentionally to make it seem like the white savior kind of thing. It just was poorly concepted, I think, on the showrunners in that one scene. And yeah, ending the season on that shot. I have other issues with that I'm not going to get into right now.
Okay.
But I do agree that is my least favorite ending shot of any season.
It's just been such an epic season. Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I think season 3 is the best one I've seen so far. And crowd surfing for a chick, like, I don't feel like Danny's story has gone very far this season. I'm not taking anything away from her. She has made great strides. But think of, like, the battles we've seen with the North and what's been going on in the Capitol and Joffrey and Stannis even. Him and Danny, they've been around, but I don't feel like any of the episodes have really heavily focused on them, and we'll miss them for an episode completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that to be given, and maybe that's a hint at the next season. Like, here we go. We're going to go into this. I don't know. My final thought on this, and I'll give you each a final thought, is, I'll take it down here. The Unsullied's armor looks like Shredder.
Yeah,
Okay.
with their helmet with the cross stitch there.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's Shredderish.
Yeah.
That's what Joe took from the scene.
Shredder-esque.
So, anybody else have a final thought?
No, that's it.
Not really.
Definitely compared to seasons 1 and 2, for this to be the outgoing shot,
Yes.
pretty soft. I just comparatively to, especially how, like, I don't know, like for the 3 opens and then now the 3 closes that we've had for the seasons. This is 6. This is bottom of the barrel compared to the other
And I
5, if that
I
makes
think
sense.
that's why I've taken such issue with the scene. Wasn't because the scene itself was this terrible thing, but it's the finale, like
And
the last.
And to
Yeah.
go along with
Shot.
that,
Go off the bang.
like,
Yeah.
it's young Kai. Like, it hasn't really been built up for us to be that big of a fucking deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, taking it was a challenge. We kind of talked. We've gone through and seen how we did the sneak attack maneuver, and like that was winning the city, right? And then we just have this where it's like, okay, well now we're convincing the slaves that we're cool. Like,
Yeah, because they didn't really explain that. Because you just took the city apparently, but now you're still waiting on the outside for the slaves to come. They didn't explain.
it doesn't make. There's nothing at stake here.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, these slaves are going to come out and take on this huge row of Unsullied. No, like it's just silly and stupid.
It's like all the slaves are going to comply to whatever she says. I mean,
Oh,
I think in
she's
real
on our
life,
team.
Yeah.
there's going to be like a number of people that just do whatever the fuck they want because there's no one to tell them what to do.
Yeah. And then also though, like, oh, she says we're free, but she's all these armed men. What if I actually do walk away? It's kind of one of those. Yeah, you say I'm free, but you're not giving me any sign that I actually am.
Right.
So
And us, the viewer, we know her intentions are great.
Yes.
We know that. It just falls flat, I think. It's not sold well at all.
Little
It's
bit.
pretty poorly done, I
Little
think.
bit.
All right.
I agree. So, let's do a giveaway. Luke,
All right.
roll a sigil.
Last one of season 3. And if you would like a sticker, Abby, tell them how we can get them some for season 4.
You can't. Talk to us on Twitter? I don't know. Sorry, Luke. I'm so sorry.
Sorry,
Way to
pulling
go.
up the rate of
Patreon?
numbers.
I'm sorry. Threw me off there. I mean, you could call me and I'll make you one enough to give it to
Just
you.
give Abby a call.
Give me a buzz.
All right, so random number generator number 35. Number 35, this is a chalice sigil it's a black chalice on a forest green badge outline. So if you have that sigil, that sticker that we gave you at Ice and FireCon, be sure to tweet us a picture of your black chalice on a forest green badge outline, and we will send you a prize if you tweet us a picture at No and Drink. And we will do our best to get more stickers out for season 4. Write into us if you would like one, and we will keep this going.
right and where?
Right into noanddrink@gmail.com or send us a tweet at noanddrink.
Say
See,
we
there
want
you go.
stickers.
I was on the right
Say
track.
sticker me, bro.
Sticker.
I'm pretty sure like none of mine won. I don't think I've
Probably
seen
not.
like any. That's absolutely
I don't
ridiculous.
think
You
we
just
had
take
any
mine out of the
chevrons. No
big deal.
pile.
Yeah, I don't think we had any chevrons win.
It was a raven.
Right.
We had ravens.
A
win.
raven.
Ravens. Oh, okay. Yeah.
We had
No chevrons one though.
No
No,
chevrons.
hey, I was correct in that statement.
7-Eleven
They just
took a
didn't
few
pick
home, though.
5 out. 7-Eleven. Perfect.
Phillips 66 did okay.
Good. You put it on the back of a van with that blue siding and AstroTurf on the outside or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? No? Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, all right. So let's talk about how accurate the description was. So we have the
Description.
season 3.
Got
Sorry,
it?
Luke.
No, go for
ahead.
it. Go for it.
The season 3 finale, Joffrey challenges Tywin. Dany waits to see if she is a conqueror or a liberator. It's pretty true.
Yeah, Joffrey definitely challenges Tywin. That happens.
That happens.
Yeah.
And Dany was waiting outside to see if the people gave a shit, I guess. I'm so confused by that scene.
Well, because she's like, are they going to look at me as I'm just conquering them? Am I going to have to rule them, or am I freeing them? So I mean, and because she does vocalize that to Jorah, and she's like, how does a conquered people, blah 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 blah, and he's like, you're not a conqueror, you're a liberator. Jorah's the one that puts it out to that, and even then, it's like, not quite. I mean, you have to prove to them that they're liberated and all that.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, episode title of Misa. We think that's a good title for this episode.
Nope.
I feel like it's kind of weak. I mean, it's the closing scene.
Right. That was just her only scene, was just the last one, and
it could have been.
Like, yeah, they say that, but do you really think that's what the whole episode was about?
No. So this one, I do think there are a few places where Mother could make sense here. We have the conversation with Cersei talking about Joffrey and how, regardless of how much of a shit he is, she's still his mother. So, like, I feel like if you look at it more of just like the mother side and not specifically on Misa, even though Glenn's convinced that titles have to be only one story.
Oh, I didn't say that.
I
was saying you're
fighting me for a while.
There's been a couple episodes where it's just specifically to this, and you're just like trying to make connections every which way, and not saying that the actual one is the one.
I'm saying it can also potentially apply to
No, the one.
Apparently no. It's not an option.
You
apparently.
said, it means fucking somebody else.
It means fucking somebody else. That's what this means. Misa means you're fucking somebody else.
I mean, you argued that the one time that happened. So.
There was one, and I was right.
No, you weren't.
In my head.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
you assumed you were right.
I'm lost because I was reading chat, so I didn't hear the start of this.
Oh, it's okay. I'll fill you in.
Yeah. So, all right.
All
I
right.
think we're good.
Accurate or no? Kind of. Yes, accurate. Do we like it?
No.
We'll give it a half thumb.
Half thumb.
Half thumb. Okay. So let's get into our least favorite things. Glenn.
Stadium.
So,
Shay
Stadium.
Yeah, I don't really need to go into detail, just that.
I just don't like the whole thing.
Yep. Benj?
I didn't hate it as much, but still Misa, nope, the least favorite part.
Just weak.
Yeah.
I agree. Luke?
I'm going the Misa scene as well. Just weak, kind of awkward, and a little unnecessary, especially for the way it's done.
Yep. So my least favorite thing is going to be eating the sausage. And we're going to go right into our favorite things. Benj!
The sausage!
The sausage.
I laughed so fucking hard the first time I saw that, and I laughed so fucking hard when I watched it yesterday because it is just so funny. Just his little wiggle. It's his joke. I mean, he's the Joker of this universe. He's just an agent of chaos, and it's just so funny and so.
It bothers me so bad. Like the psychological warfare that he plays, it just, it's awful.
But like
and
I said, there's one line they could have added that would have made this probably one of my favorite scenes of all time. But they don't have
just
it.
a nod to your book.
Whoops.
Glenn?
Favorite thing, we see Sam's letter getting out, or to the Ravens are on the move, and then you see like the other side of it where a letter got to Stannis. So eventually there's going to be White Walker awareness moving forward to others in Westeros. Now, I guess we just see one side of somebody, how they take the letter. I think there's definitely going to be other people that are like, what the fuck is this? Throw it away. Move it aside.
I feel like we have, a responsibility to the viewership to make sure that the White Walker Awareness Association is started.
White Walker Awareness.
Yep.
The WWAA.
A white ribbon.
I felt like there was banners to be made.
This month is White Walker Awareness Month.
Yes. Everybody, go get checked for White Walker.
See if you are coming down with White Walker.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to pick the character pairings in this particular episode. I think some of them are really strong. Almost every scene that we kind of jump to, you see some great actors like playing against each other. We have Arya and the Hound and Roose Bolton and Walder Frey. They both did really, really great. Even like Sam and Aemon Targaryen, like the way that's played, and you have Jon and Ygritte. Like it's like every single one. You have nothing really let me down. Davos and Gendry. So it just kind of stood out in this episode for me tonight. And Luke, you're last.
Davos as acting Hand of the King after he's been sentenced to death by Stannis. It's so funny. He's just like, I sentence you to death. He's like, whoa, hold on, just a minute here. You haven't unnamed me Hand of the King. I'm going to advise against you killing me. Let's start there. Let's put a stopper on this. You're going to need me. I just like Davos in general, and him helping out Gendry here is pretty well done.
It's awesome. I love, he's just a funny guy. Luke, do you want to give us a little info on Patreon?
Sure. So you can go to patreon.com/stayimaginary, and you can find out how you can help support our show and get some really cool swag in return. Exclusive content, access to our Slack channel, and all sorts of different things like a merchandise club and a specific patron exclusive podcast called The Podcast That Must Not Tell Lies. It's related to our Harry Potter podcast, and it's a little bit deeper dive on there. We're working towards getting a lot more content for Drinks and Nose Things, for patron exclusive, and we'll have more on that coming up soon. But for all the ways that you can help keep our beer bank full, check out thepodcastthat.com/support us, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Benji's coming up with new ideas every day, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, maybe for patrons, we can fly them here and put them to work in the garden. We can
Catch
they
a
can
flick.
go shovel shit at the wall.
We can go to Walmart together.
The wall, also known as the huge STV.
Oh, man. Benji, redeem yourself. Let us know about Floats Down Here.
Podcast that floats down here is a chapter-by-chapter read-through summary podcast of Stephen King's It. Myself, Luke, and our other sister, Melissa, go through and read we don't read each chapter, we summarize each chapter and give our thoughts and opinions. Luke has never read the books, never seen the miniseries, never done anything with it. All he knows is Stephen King wrote it. And we decided, hey, read this, but you can only do one chapter at a time, and we're going to take some time in between. So he's been working on this for quite some time, and we're only about halfway through. So it's a fun kind of walk through, read through, whatever, to find out. We'll be also covering the miniseries and the two movies that are the last movie that was released last year and the new movie that'll be released next year. We'll be covering all that. And then from there, hopefully, we'll keep on going with another Stephen King book. We'll figure out which one we're doing in a while.
Yep, so join us every other Friday for that.
Yep,
right?
Comes out every other Friday, and you can find out more at thepodcastthat.com. You can tweet us there at Floats Down Here.
Perfect. Glenn, will you let us know about Must Not Be Named?
Yeah, the podcast that must not be named is all about Harry Potter. You have Luke and Melissa. They're talking about Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, Hermione Granger, Albus Dumbledore, Snape,
Crookshanks.
Draco Malfoy, Hagrid,
Luna Lovegood.
and others.
And more.
And more. Stay tuned to find who they're talking about.
See, I think Glenn should do all the
And then you
promos.
can
Yes.
learn you can
Just
learn
gonna
more
say the same thing.
at thepodcastthat.com.
That comes out every Sunday,
Fantastic.
and you can follow us there at Not Named Podcast.
Oh my
Thanks, Glenn.
lord.
They
That
talk
was
about
awesome.
Harry Potter, Ron Weasley.
Oh my lord. Okay, so over to me. This is the first time Watcher on the Wall predictions, and there's a lot.
Okay, you're doing more than 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Rattle them off.
ready? Season 4, the North becomes a real threat. Winter is coming in Season 4. Number 2, Ramsay becomes a big problem for more than just Theon. Theon may be his first taste of this sadistic power. I'm saying maybe, like, in my mind, maybe Theon is his first taste of this sadistic power, and now this psychopath, he starts to escalate. And I think I'm getting a little bit of hint of that because of that letter that he sent. I feel like he is gaining confidence. Number 3. Yep. In the final scene, Danny and company are standing on some type of rock formation of sorts. The positions they are in a direct reflection of her succession of ranking.
Okay.
Therefore, Jorah should be more intimidated and threatened by Missandei than Daario.
So Jorah is placed below Missandei.
You need a visual reference. Let me get that on there.
Oh,
It's going to have to see it in
okay.
pencil. So we got Dany at the top. Missandei is slightly above her. And then we got Barristan and Jorah. Same rock leverage. Daario to them. The 3 dragons in front, I think that's just because they're kids. You know, they need to see. And they're dragons.
They're chilling.
And then we got they're the Unsullied. So, number 4, Arya Valar Morghulis. I think she will be a faceless man. Number 5, Jon goes after Bran. And on this adventure trying to find him, he runs into everybody's favorite wildling. And number 6, Cersei marries Loras.
What was the 5th one again? Sorry.
Jon goes after Bran. Jon, okay. Maybe like a party. Like, I think he's going to be allowed to go after them.
To find
and,
them.
Yeah, we're going to run into Ygritte again.
Okay.
Really quick, do we want to go over some of her previously stated predictions?
Do you have a...
I'm pulling up, because...
if you can do it real quick.
I 1 second here. I'm pulling up last week's.
Do it quickly.
I know I predicted that some people would... I don't know, maybe that was 2 times ago.
You
predicted Rod. Yeah, I got 2 more to go. Joffrey and... who else? Theon. They got to go.
Okay, so, yeah, I'm trying to pull yours up here really quick here. So, they're not typed in here. So you did predict Sam and Bran would cross paths.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You were correct about that one. And then what was your second one that ended up being true?
Sam the baby.
Sam the baby.
Baby Sam. Yep. So.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. When you said Sam and Bran, I'm like, I know she watched.
She knows her Sam and Bran.
The next episode.
Yeah. No, I'm.
So good call outs on.
I just think some of it. If I was just watching for enjoyment, I don't necessarily I would think I would know. But when you slow it down and I literally take, like, I don't know if you can see these on here. I'll show you a better page that's not pencil written. But I'm sitting here taking scene by scene notes. Like, in depth, what's going on. There's just these trends that are a little more obvious that way. So... I've been wrong, too. Real wrong.
Yeah, Littlefinger.
Yeah, that's the biggest one so far. All right. I'm going to run down mine, and then you guys can follow suit. I am Gertie of House Condescension. My words are we don't quit. I have a sigil that is a field of white with a raven sitting atop a black up-pointed chevron. My sword is named Gunther, and I live north of the wall. We pray to the old gods. My horse's name is Odin. My animal's name is JJ the Honey Badger. It's short for Judge Judy. Our ancestral home is Gertie's Gallows, and our hometown newspaper is the Nightly Raven. You can connect with me on my personal Twitter at GoHomeGertie. My final thought. Best season so far.
All right, I am Lucan of House Blackmead. House words, ours is the drink. Our sigil is an obsidian black chalice on a gold and blue checky background. We have a house sword called the Sweet Sting. We are from the Riverlands because we supply the Crossroads Inn with all of their mead needs, med neds, as Glenn likes to say. We appreciate what the old gods are up to. And I have a horse named Cherry. Broke her leg last week. Might have to put her down. We'll see. We'll see. But Paris the Parrot's doing well. He's hanging out at home at the Ancestral Keep. Black Cast Keep. We read The Drowned Word, and you can connect with me on my personal Twitter at LucaFerocious.
All right, and I am Sly of House McLean. Our house words, it's dangerous to drink alone. House sigil is 3 gold triangles on a field of red and black. Our house sword is Konami, because they make blades of steel. We live in the Reach. We pray to the gods of tits and wine. We ride Peach all night long. That's our horse. Ares the Phoenix is always hanging out. And we live in the Tower of Hera. Make sure to watch out for Moldorn. And we read the Daily Sun. And if you'd like to contact me, you can get me on Twitter at Sly McLean, SLYMCLAIN.
And I am Glenn of House Dog. Woof, woof. House words, you miss 99% of the shots you don't take. House sigil is a Spuds McKenzie Bull Terrier with a Wayne Gretzky number 99 jersey on. My house sword is named Johnny Utah. I am from the Vale. I follow dem new gods.
Dem new gods.
My horse name is Horse Meat. I had another animal that was going to try to be the number 1, but Rich the Flying Squirrel took him the fuck out.
See ya.
See ya, bitch. My ancestral home is the castle at Beast Mountain. I subscribe to the Moon Door Bee, and you can follow me on Twitter at Popsicle Stand. My final thought, you can join us next season, Season 4, where we're going to talk about Jon Snow, Daenerys Targaryen, Tyrion Lannister, Sansa Stark, and others.
Plus. Minimum.
Oh, boy. Please, Glenn, work on promos that all sound like that so we can just drop them in. That'll be perfect. With some, like, sweet music behind there. Like, heart pumping beat. That'd be good. So, please join us in our lied. Please join them in their epilogue episode coming up next, entitled Hearts of Stone. You can follow us on Twitter at KnowAndDrink. You can send us a digital raven at knowanddrink@gmail.com. Please subscribe, like, rate, and leave comments on iTunes or YouTube. And until next time, as always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
As always, don't turn your back on the Wolfpack.
As always, winter is coming, and so am I.
And as always, thanks for hanging out. Stay imaginary.
How do you know this?
That's what I do.
Mainly stay classy.
I drink,
But mainly,
and I know things.
thanks for being here.
Drink up.
All right, chat. We are going to take a short break, 5-10 minutes, get some refills, and join us here shortly for our epilogue episode, which Abby will be getting the fuck out. No first-time watchers.
Whoa, Black Betty, bam, blam.
House Black Betty of Bamboland, of Ambulance.
Of Wambulance.
So we'll.
You know how hard I worked on that?
What was mine? Sly of
McCummon.
McCummon.
Yeah.
That works.
All right, so we are going to kick Abby out, and we are going to put some standby music on here for a little bit. But stay with us, and if you have any thoughts for the keywords "Hearts of Stone," put them in the chat. We'll get to it here shortly.
Hearts on fire, love, desire.
Rocky 4.
I thought you were just going to keep going.
That's all I know of the song.
All right, and now we're going to break.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink, and I know things.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast that drinks and knows things. This is our epilogue episode for Season 3, Episode 10 of Game of Thrones Misa, or our episode title of I Wish I Had an Oscar Meyer Weiner.
Did she say that? Did Abby say that last episode?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah the very first, but we never repeated it.
I just don't listen.
No. But today we are talking about Hearts of Stone. Basically, the game of consolidation, removal of Lady Stoneheart from Game of Thrones, and we felt this is the most fitting because this is the most fitting place that she should have returned.
And this is spoiler filled. We have kicked our first time watcher on the wall, Abby, out, and it's just the boys now. So
Yeah.
Ben, Glenn, Luke, we're hanging out talking about Lady Stoneheart being left out.
Sure. Yeah.
She's just feeling left out.
So I'll get my whole thing out.
Yeah, why don't you give your...
I'll give my spiel.
Give your
Give
whole
your
thing
whole
up.
So, this episode is titled Misa, which we know is translation from a High Valyrian or
Olgiskari.
Olgiskari, thank you, to mother. And so when the people who've read the books saw this title and were thinking, okay, great. So the ending scene with Dany being crowd surfed by the
You raise me up.
being crowd surfed by them, or crowd surfing her, we're thinking, okay, they're going to do one quick cutaway scene, and we'll see the Brotherhood without banners walking up on a naked Catelyn Stark along the riverbank and just fade to black. They don't even need to mention anything further. That's all they needed to show. They didn't even need to show them waking her up, and we would have been fine. But they didn't. And that's why this scene kind of ruins this whole episode because of the title. The rest of the episode is actually really good. I can't say that. But that ending scene just is so annoying now because I was sitting there waiting. All right, cool. And we have credits.
Like, here's the opportunity to be exactly like the book.
Yeah, and it's not a, far shot story to add in. It's really only one more actress to keep, and it's a fairly easy story to tell. You only show her two. Hell, we've seen the White Walkers, 3 times?
Right.
Maybe 4 in 3 seasons. Do that with Lady Stoneheart. Just a couple scenes here.
Especially after paying off, later seasons when they pay off, the Brotherhood without banners, and basically it's Beric Dondarrion's character that I guess has taken the reins to that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's definitely a missed opportunity. And it's not really even mentioned at all.
Right, I agree. And to me, whenever I was first reading through those books, I read through those books before seeing this episode, so I knew that Lady Stoneheart was a thing, and I was so excited because that was I had Ned beheading spoiled for me in the book, so I knew that was going to happen. It was still obviously a big deal, and I think I don't remember exactly, but I would guess maybe the Red Wedding too, but I would think I saw that in the show first, but this one, when I got to the epilogue of that book, and I was like, holy shit, that is the coolest fucking thing. This is just happening now? We're just doing this now? And to me it was okay, because I'm always a bigger fan of the fantasy side of the story than the politics and the warfare, which is, I like it, but to me, I'm more on the fantasy side of it. And so I was like, holy shit, this is exactly up my alley of what I'm looking for. And it's just completely negated from the story and just neglected and left out over and over. And there have been a lot of really easy places they could have put it back in later on after this.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons why they're not doing it, but...
No, agreed. I mean, and it's one of those, because even in the books, between this time, because this is, halfway through book 3, but halfway through Storm of Swords is the Red Wedding. And so we go, 500 pages probably, and then we get the epilogue, and oh yeah, this happened. But in that time, we saw Arya, getting her vision, Nymeria's vision, seeing the dead body, and seeing that it was her mother, that Kat's dead, okay. And now, we had more confirmation, I guess, even more so in the show than we got in the book for the actual death. I think it was pretty, spot on that
the death of Catelyn.
Yeah, in the book wise, like I'm saying, because she was the first POV character. Well, I guess second POV character to get actually killed, of any show, like in their POV. So it's hard to say unless you actually physically see it from somebody else's perspective. And so we get the confirmation from Arya's perspective through Nymeria. Yeah, Kat's dead. So by that point, she's written off. Cool. But then, yeah, the epilogue pops up. And so, yeah, for book readers to this, them cutting her out, it's like, why? I mean, it's an easy story that can definitely help build a lot of the slow parts, especially with Jaime and Brienne, that come up later on, in the show. Like, Brienne just hang around outside of Winterfell for half a fucking season, waiting on Sansa. You know what? Maybe let her run into Stoneheart for, 4 of those episodes or something like that. To fill up her time a bit. And
just on the same token, seeing that they did something similar with, like, the Brotherhood Without Banners, like, it just kind of sucks that she wasn't kind of in that or whatever, and they kind of went a different direction with the whole thing.
Leaving Beric in there,
yeah,
and all that.
And like if they would have cut Beric out, like at this point, he wasn't really a big character.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was just in season 1 as a different guy, and then in this past season as
the fight in the cave and all that
for a couple.
Yeah, 6. Well, hell, I think Beric actually only 2 episodes, maybe 3 episodes. We actually had Beric himself.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he was a pretty big deal, but at the same time, like just big enough for Stoneheart to come in and take the reins of that. Like we kind of care about Beric, but it's a great sacrificial character to pay for Lady Stoneheart.
Exactly.
And it is a game of consolidation. They don't want to open up that book of going through the Riverlands this early because they put it off until season 6 when it should be like happening now. I mean, we're getting close to middle of season 4 is when like all of the stuff with Edmure and the Freys and River Run should be happening, but they put that off until season 6.
Yeah,
and they just don't want to carry that Lady Stoneheart character in the background and dick with it, where Michelle Fairley, I remember hearing stuff about she didn't want to play a zombie. I don't know how much that really factored into the decisions at all, or even how true that is. These are things that I've heard, but I don't know. To me, it was one of the more interesting kind of surprises in the story, and we never get it.
And then you see Rob getting kind of mocked by the Freys as cutting his head off and then putting the Grey Wind's head on him, mocking him, and then they did the same. They were mocking Catelyn by throwing her into the river into the drink, as that's kind of like the custom that they funerals
mocking the Tully funeral customs.
Procession. Yeah, and it's like you saw they did that with Rob. But what about Catelyn?
What about Cat?
What about?
Yeah, and then they actively don't do much else with it, which like just really leaves it open, like perfect for like either like after the credits, even if you wanted to do that, because they've done cold openings like that hard close, like the Marvel after credits kind of thing.
Yeah,
I mean that basically a true epilogue to the season. It's consolidation, and we're starting to feel that axe being dropped on a lot of storylines. And
season 4, they stay fairly true.
True to what? No, we're getting off pretty bad in certain areas here already.
Pretty bad. I'm saying, I'd give it a 50-50 of true to after Storm of Swords. Once we hit Feast for Crows and Dance of Dragons, it's off the fucking rails. David and Dan were like, you know what? We're going to go our way. And we have the baseline.
It's because they got too far ahead in certain areas, and they didn't just fucking wait.
Well, it's hell. Like they
forced some things to happen sooner.
Yeah, they cut them out of 5 altogether.
Right, which made sense.
Yeah,
because they had to, or else that was running out of storyline. But they could have just started dwindling him out like now.
Yeah,
spacing what we had this season out a little bit.
This could have easily gone well, but the problem is with Sam. They needed to get Sam back to the wall, and so. The timing, I mean, I get where they were coming from because it does fall book-wise because you just don't want to have Sam wander around the north for that. But I'd almost say cut him out of season 4, because by this point you're done. Cut him out of season 4, then bring him back in 5, instead of doing it the ass backwards way that they did of cut him out of 5.
Get to the cave and just dicking around for a year.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. You know, so it's some of the decisions
he's
that
just 10 years older.
3.5 foot taller.
No, I think eventually they start to go off the rails a little bit, and then eventually I think it really hits hard whenever they run out of material, because obviously there's not another book, so there's like a point, and I can't remember what season, maybe like 6, where it's just new stuff almost.
Well, 5 is like all of the
4 and 5.
Arya.
Yeah.
The
Aryan
she's
wave.
like still fucking over in Bravos, and I mean, it's 6 too. Six is the worst.
Yeah, 6 is the worst.
With
5 is worse.
Arya and the Wayfinator.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible. Like, it's just awful.
You know that, and I had something. Never mind. But yeah, it's one of those with the consolidation. Yeah, they cut out major plot points and they just skip around but then they add in sending Jamie to Dorne. It's like Jamie fucking never went to Dorne, you know. But they needed Jamie to do something instead of going to deal with the Freys. Why or the Tullys? Let Jamie go deal with the Tullys and have Dorne. You know, hell, if you need to send somebody, send Bronn alone to Dorne. That's a little bit more fitting, you know, than Jamie going. And the only reason they sent Jamie was to have, you know, that one scene with Myrcella. That's it. You know, and it's like, you didn't need that. And so, what I was going to say, David and Dan, when they're great at adapting, I don't know how good they are at creating.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've seen that consistently.
Right, and now they're like going with, you know, giving parts of the book, like specific character parts to like a character that's already in there, instead of creating a new character and having them on the books or whatever. You're just going to give that part to Sansa or whatever.
And I'm usually fine with consolidating to a character that we know.
Yeah, like the Gendry and Edric Storm.
Perfect. I was totally fine with that, because Gendry doesn't end up doing a whole lot. He hangs out in the Riverlands doing the Blacks, which they were already putting off the Riverland stuff entirely. So yeah, let him fill that. It narratively works. Yeah, they're not making any real stretch here.
But so begins SS Abandoned Plotline.
Right. Yeah.
The SS Abandoned Plotline.
Yeah. They all took the Jojen train to the dock. And the one that really just kind of confuses me are these like pointless changes or like pointless omissions. And I'm not saying that the Lady Stoneheart is a pointless. I can see that's just a lot more that they're avoiding. Yeah, and that's fine. Like, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's like cutting out some of the prophecies.
Like changing Jane Westerling to Talisa Meyer. Like, what the fuck is the difference? Like, why not just? I guess it makes it more convoluted because you have to deal with the Westerland side of it. But I feel like it makes it a bigger deal. Yeah. Like, it's...
Exactly. And then it still leaves...
I guess it gets rid of the family baggage. It's just, here's a girl that wasn't a Frey. They're getting right to that being the only thing that matters.
Yeah, and I get that, but at the same time, it does, you know, because even I thought, okay, well, they're going to turn her into like I said, they're going to turn her into the spy. She's going to be the one, I'm just writing to my mother. And when she makes fun of Rob, I'm actually writing Tywin Lannister right now. I kind of wanted her to actually be writing Tywin Lannister, because to me, it's not been confirmed in the books, but the Westerlings are spies. At least Mother Westerling.
Right, not necessarily Jane, but she was put up to it by Mama Westerling.
By Mama, and she was given the, not Nightshade,
milk, the Tansy tea.
Yeah.
Plan B.
Yeah, the Plan B tea.
Plan B tea. Moon tea.
Thank you. Yeah, moon tea. Right. You know, and she didn't realize what she was taking or being given. And so I think, you know, in that aspect, I kind of wanted them to keep that. And again, it's all speculation because we have no confirmation on it. But I wanted there to be more than just Rob got fucked because of his dick. And that's, you know...
He got fucked because of his dick. That sounds like Theon.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, he thought with the little head and stuck with his honor, quote unquote. But it was... I kind of want that their backstory. And it's not... That's a 3-page, 30-second scene you can do. Boom. All explanation. And so, yeah, the game of consolidation, I can live with it. And I remember watching this, and that's what I've been doing this season. Watch it as a show, not as book to show. And so this is the first time I've watched the ending scene of this, episode, and I wasn't like viscerally fucking pissed off because I knew what was coming or knew what wasn't coming. And I was like, okay, I can live with that. And that's why I think I'm being a little softer on Dani now. And I think a lot of my hatred for Dani comes from, it's not even her, it's the way it's portrayed and written up, and just, this scene burning me, thinking, okay, we're going to have this, and no, we're going to end on Dani again. This is second season, because she had season 1 where it was ended on her, and season
dragons.
3, and
what
so...
was the end of season 2?
Sam with the walkers.
Yep.
And
the intro to 3 was the follow-up to that, right?
Yeah, season 4 is Arya. I can't remember 5 or 6, but I know the first 2 of 4 is Dani. And so, like, that's where I was starting with, like, really? They're going to end on this fucking bullshit? And that's, I think, where a lot of my anger comes from. I'm trying to let that go and watch
This has just been Benji therapy.
It really has. I don't hate Catelyn as much. I mean, I still don't like her, but don't hate her as much.
She's also very dead now.
She is very dead, and so she's even better. But not as good as she could have been as Lady Stoneheart. She could have redeemed herself, I guess. Because in the books, Lady Stoneheart redeems Catelyn a bit for me. But it's... That's my rant and my rave and everything about it. Anything else we want to talk about on Game of Consolidation? Oh.
Right, game of Consolidation. I think like definitely the show's done so well that it just seems like Dan and Dave don't get a lot of criticism. And like even what was that one episode we watched with the commentary? And I think it was even George R. Martin himself when they were talking about Talisa, and he's almost like praising them for coming up with her instead of going with what the book had said, and like stuff like that, and like even their portrayal of Shea Stadium, it was just like, it's because the show does so good. It's like they don't get a lot of criticism, from high powers.
I mean, and I watched a few interviews with George, and he's like, well, that was a show thing, and this and that, but George, you're right. George won't even call him because he's such a laid back guy.
Yeah.
That because unlike Tolkien, he said this before. Tolkien made sure you knew how to say every single one of those names and everything was pronounced the exact. He's like, if you want to say Tywin is Tywin, go ahead, read it however you want. I know how I say it. I know how, and so he's okay with letting as long as the baseline story's there, he's fine with giving liberties to David and Dan because they proved themselves as fans.
Yeah,
and they could do it right, and I don't think they've done it wrong, but I think they could have done it better.
Sure.
So if you want to hear more about things that the show has done very wrong in a certain person's perspective who's highly biased in certain ways but has really good points, check out The Dragon Demands. Dragon Demands on YouTube. He is very much not a fan of the show and tears into things that Dave and Dan specifically have changed and goes really, really in depth on why he thinks they've made certain changes. So I'd recommend checking it out. It's worth checking out for sure.
I am pulling him up now and subscribing so I can find him later.
All right. Any final thoughts on Lady Stoneheart not being involved or other consolidations that happened in season 3?
Trying to think of season 3 consolidations. Like I said, we had the Gendry, we have Stoneheart,
Jane Westerling.
Jane Westerling. That's been an ongoing. Nothing else. I like how they kept the Theon storyline alive. I kind of wish they wouldn't have done it. Like I said, I love Ramsay. I love the whole thing, but I do like in the books he's just
radio silence
until number 5, and then he pops up as Reek. So I like seeing the torture stuff, but I kind of wouldn't mind seeing just nothing.
Abandoned plot lines.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, abandoned plot line, and because look how much.
But that's also one that people know would have to come back. Like like the way that they would do it. That's how the character's designed. It disappears for a while.
Right, and then to build Ramsay up as a villain, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what they're doing now. They're sowing the seeds as Joffrey is on his way out. Here we know shortly in 2 episodes they have to have already built up Ramsey to really take the reins on being uber number one cunt.
Yeah. No, and that's
and he reigns for the next 3 seasons, basically.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts?
Let's see where we go. I mean,
we're gonna go to season 4.
Well, I know. I did sit up last night because I have a free HBO thing on my TV, so I watched like the first 4 episodes just play. But I was like, I'm not intently watching. I'm just had it on, and there were some spots where I'm like, okay.
There are some spots this next season I'm gonna be like, I don't remember seeing this.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't watched this portion of the show all that much.
Right.
I started watching season 5 a lot more. And, I don't know. There was a couple times in season 3 it was like, what the fuck was that scene? Like, I don't remember, like, real minor stuff.
Yeah, well, I know the whole season, and I'm not going to get into it, but I know it's Arya and Hound, the whole season. I know that one. I know it's all Jon building up to the Battle of the Wall and the Purple Wedding. That's about it. I mean, Sansa scooting off.
All Tyrion stuff.
Just him in a cell for night.
Yeah, well, the mountain, the Viper in the mountain too.
Yeah,
but
that's a big deal.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying the Tyrion stuff. He's just sitting in a cell for most of the season.
I meant the stuff around him.
Yeah,
with
the King's Landing stuff.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Oberyn Martell.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, this is where Oberyn comes in.
This is where Oberyn comes in.
Oh.
All right,
So
take us out of this.
All right. So as always, you can find us on Twitter at No and Drink. Send us an digital raven at noanddrink@gmail.com. Subscribe, like, rate, leave us comments on iTunes and YouTube. And until next time, as always, Abby doesn't know, so she'll just drink.
As always, don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
As always, winter is coming, and so am I.
And as always, stay the fuck imaginary. We love you.
Drink up.
How do you know this? That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Go home now. Bye-bye. Bye. Good night. Bye-bye now. Okay. Goodbye.